Stick with me. We are about to watch the real young master return to his wealthy family after 20 years of raising pigs. His biological parents already despised him to the core, so I instantly decided to trade them in for a brand new set of parents. I marched straight up to my eldest uncle and aunt, who happened to be completely childless, and confidently declared, "Uncle, Auntie, I want to adopt you two as my new parents. Is that fine?" The moment those words left my mouth, my aunt was overwhelmed with pure joy and absolute disbelief. Meanwhile, my biological mother, standing nearby, panicked like a cornered cat. Why? Because on the exact day I returned home, my parents and sister completely failed to step outside and greet me. Instead, they stayed inside, busy coddling the fragile emotions of their precious adopted son. I looked at the family on the sofa, their faces showing nothing but pure disgust. I just snorted, turned to my aunt, the only person who actually picked me up, and asked, "Auntie, are those people really my biological parents?" My aunt steadied herself and gently nodded. "That is true. What is wrong?" I laughed coldly. "I am obviously their biological son, yet why does it feel like they are staring at me with total disgust?" Right then, all four people in the room completely changed their expressions. They clearly never expected me to be so brutally honest. Now watch this closely. My biological mother finally peeled herself off the sofa, putting on a ridiculously fake display of sadness. "Oh, my poor child, you must have suffered so much out there." I quickly dodged so she could not touch me and said, "Drop the act. There is zero sadness in your eyes, Beatrix." My biological mother stood there completely awkward, but a massive fire of anger instantly flared up deep in her heart, just as expected from a child not raised by her side. Absolutely zero manners, she probably thought. She forced a very stiff smile. "I already prepared your room. Come, let Mom show you your brand new room." Saying that, she tried to grab my hand once again. I dodged again and mocked her. Oh, so preparing a room was way more important than personally coming outside to greet your own son. Beatrix missed my hand again, a flash of annoyance clearly crossing her eyes. I spoke lightly. "No need to see the room. I might not even stay here anyway." Saying that, I pointed right at Asher, who looked about my age, and asked, "Who is he?" Asher completely froze upon being called out. His eyes instantly turned completely red, his little hands gently tugging at the sleeve of the second sister standing right next to him. The second sister, Seraphina, lowered her voice very softly. "Asher, do not be afraid." Then she turned and looked at me coldly. "I am your sister, Seraphina Vance, and this is my little brother, Asher Vance." She deliberately emphasized the specific words, "my little brother." I let out an "oh" full of hidden meaning. "He is your little brother, so that clearly means he is the exact kid who got secretly switched with me." Asher's hands trembled, his eyes turning red like he was about to burst into total tears. Hearing this, the second sister's face turned downright ugly. She intentionally raised her voice. "In my heart, Asher is my real biological brother." I laughed coldly. "Treating him as your biological brother, you really are quite stupid." These harsh words left absolutely everyone stunned. Seraphina looked at me in pure shock. "You dare call me stupid?" I sneered right back. "Yes, did I say something wrong? Do not tell me you do not know his mother secretly switched me with him." At this moment, Asher's lips trembled and tears uncontrollably rolled right down his face. Seraphina tightly grasped his hand to comfort him. "Asher, it is not your fault." Then she turned directly to me. "Yes, Asher's mother switched you guys, but Asher is completely innocent. He never knew anything." I burst out laughing, my eyes full of deep ridicule. "Innocent? Oh, really? Let that sink in for a second. Innocent enough to enjoy 20 years of my luxury life while his vicious mother literally tossed me right into a freezing trash can. If someone had not found me, I would not have survived the moment I was born." My sharp words totally silenced Seraphina. A fleeting hint of genuine guilt actually crossed her mind. Right then, Asher sobbed loudly and apologized. "It is all my fault. It is all because I have a terrible mother. Brother, if you truly hate me, just hit me or scold me, but please never blame our second sister." Saying that, he violently tried to wrench his hand free from Seraphina, biting his lip and rushing towards me with a dramatic face, totally ready to bear the punishment of the world. Seraphina panicked and hurriedly chased after him, pulling him back right before he could kneel down. "Asher, what exactly are you doing? I already told you it is not your fault. It is your mother's fault." Watching this ridiculous scene unfold, I laughed again, clapping my hands like a highly entertaining soap opera. Fascinating. Are you guys putting on a dramatic misery play just for me? Seeing me remaining completely unmoved, that tiny bit of guilt that had just flickered inside Serafina's heart instantly vanished. She helped Asher up and glared at me coldly. How can you be so cold? Asher sincerely apologized, yet you still mock him. Crazy, right? Not only am I mocking him, I smiled coldly. I am mocking all of you, I continued. Stick with me here for a wild story. His cruel mother actually switched us at birth, perfectly scheming to steal 20 beautiful years of my own life. And now the true heir finally returns, but my so-called parents and sister openly defend the fake right in front of me. Honestly, being stuck with a family like this feels insanely unlucky. Serafina's expression just completely soured. At this point, Beatrix turned toward her husband, looking totally helpless against her own stubborn biological son. She really had zero solutions. Logically or emotionally, Beatrix found it entirely impossible to like this child. Then my real father, Reginald, who had stayed completely silent until now, finally spoke up. Listen, Sterling, Asher's mother was already punished by the law. Right now, he is totally alone and has literally no one to trust. Your mother and I raised him for 20 whole years. We cannot simply kick him out. The Vance family is incredibly wealthy anyway. Keeping him here just means setting one extra plate. It will not stop you from being the true young master later on. But I definitely was not buying that garbage. If it is just adding an extra plate, why not send him somewhere else entirely? Why insist on keeping him around? So every time I see his face, I am constantly reminded of my miserable life after being switched away. Reginald honestly did not expect that even after he intervened, I would still fiercely resist. Just like Beatrix, Reginald grew increasingly disgusted with his biological son. Compared to the obedient Asher, this real son was simply too unrefined. Right then, Asher bit his lip as tears silently fell down. He wore a stubborn little expression, crying without a sound, looking incredibly pathetic. Now pay attention here. Seeing me pushing the issue, Serafina completely exploded. Are you saying you absolutely must kick Asher out today? I nodded firmly. Exactly. In this big house, it is either me or it is him. Those words caused all four of their faces to instantly drop. Asher, totally teary-eyed and full of grievance, whined Dad, Mom, and second sister. I really do not want to leave you, Serafina tightly grabbed his hand. Asher, do not worry. As long as I am still around, you will never leave the Vance family ever. You will forever be my little brother, the young master of this family. Hearing this, I raised my eyebrow. He stays, so that means you really want me to go. Right at this moment, the growing frustration inside Beatrix peaked. She bluntly spoke her mind aloud. If you want to smoothly return to the Vance family and live peacefully as a wealthy young master without a single worry forever, then you must obediently swallow all of your anger. Just accept the hard reality that Asher will continue staying in the Vance family as young master. Otherwise, we can only give up on you. Before I could reply, a heartbroken voice came from the doorway. It was my eldest Aunt Ara. Is my sister-in-law truly being this incredibly heartless? You and I did not see this coming. I completely froze, turning around to watch my eldest uncle and aunt walking right in. Ara looked at me with eyes full of pity. I really could not put my mind at ease, so I decided to come back and check on the whole situation. I never expected. Serafina looked at the returning aunt and defensively shot back. Auntie, it is not that we reject him, it is that he wants to leave. You guys insist on keeping the child of the person who caused him to suffer outside for 20 years. How could he not be heartbroken? Hearing this, a quick flash of pure resentment passed through Asher's eyes. This old hag talks way too much. No wonder she cannot have any kids. Serves her right, but noticing my eldest uncle staring at him, Asher immediately restrained his dark emotions and quickly looked away. Feeling my aunt fiercely defending me felt incredibly warm. Auntie, do not waste your breath on them. A family like theirs, I do not want them. They reject me, and I certainly do not need them anyway. Ara's eyes turned red as she reached out to gently rub my cheek. Poor child. How about you just endure it a little and let Asher stay? I firmly shook my head. No. If they want me here, I absolutely will not allow that enemy's child to stay for even one single day. Right at this exact moment, the deep, resonant voice of an elder echoed from outside. My precious grandson has finally been brought back home. An old man leaning on a cane supported by the head butler arrived. I quickly turned toward the doorway. This definitely must be Grandpa Vance, my grandfather. Seeing this, Reginald dropped his fake authority, hastily standing to support the old man. But Grandpa Vance just angrily swatted his hand away. I do not need a foolish man like you supporting me. You reject your real son yet. You insist on raising your literal enemy's kid. I am honestly starting to suspect that boy is your illegitimate son. Reginald looked incredibly awkward. Dad, please do not talk nonsense. We did a DNA test. Asher does not share my DNA at all. We just have feelings after 20 years, idiot Grandpa scolded. That is where we leave it. What do you and I think? Let's dive into some wild family drama. Taking in a random street kid is one thing, but this is the boy whose mom literally swapped him for your real son. Grandpa snaps. He says their brains must have been kicked by a donkey. Grandpa Vance walks right up to me, studying my face very closely. The butler was completely right. Even after 20 years of roughing it out there, this grandson was totally confident, zero fear. He finally returns to his rich family and Grandpa pats my shoulder. My precious grandson, I am your grandpa. Your dad is a complete fool, but I'm not. If he refuses you, I will claim you. I smiled. Grandpa, honestly, if it wasn't for you, Uncle and Auntie having such clear heads, I would seriously doubt how the Vance family became a top-tier rich family. The rest are just embarrassingly foolish. Reginald turns completely green after being mocked like that. Grandpa Vance just laughs loudly. Sterling, relax. Today I am definitely getting justice for you. Even if I have to kick every single one of them out, I will never let you leave the Vance family. Serafina is not happy about this. But the second she opens her mouth, Grandpa totally shuts her down. You keep your mouth shut. You're the one who deserves to be kicked out the most. Back then, how do you think that baby swap even happened? It was entirely because of your stupidity. Now watch closely. How about we make you suffer outside, then bring you back to face the exact same horrible situation your biological brother is dealing with right now? I would love to see if you act this foolish then. Hearing that Serafina is left completely, utterly speechless. Grandpa Vance glares at his second son and daughter-in-law. And you two, what is this absolute nonsense about living together for 20 years and developing feelings? I haven't even punished you yet for using Vance family money to raise a literal criminal's kid. Yet somehow you care more about him than your actual real flesh and blood. You actually want to chase away my grandson for a criminal's boy. Let me make this clear. If my precious grandson leaves, your entire family is getting kicked out. Seeing Grandpa Vance's ironclad attitude, Beatrix really wants to argue but completely stops herself. Reginald does not dare say a single word. Serafina tightly clenches her fists, glaring at me with eyes full of pure, bitter resentment. Noticing her glare, I casually slide a hand behind my back, flip her off, and silently mouth a word. Idiot. Right then, Beatrix awkwardly asks, what about Asher? Grandpa Vance gives a harsh warning. If you want to keep him, then keep him. But starting right now, do not let him touch a single penny of my real grandson's money. After finishing that, he turns to me. Sterling, you stay. Forget your foolish parents, your sister, or their adopted kid. From now on, the Vance family is your true home. Suddenly, a brilliant idea pops into my head. You and I know revenge is sweet. Listen to this plan, Grandpa. I don't want them as parents. Can I just adopt Uncle and Auntie as my parents instead? What do you think? Those words leave the entire room totally stunned. The aunt goes from pure shock to absolute joy. Sterling, what did you just say? I repeat it clearly. Auntie, I want to adopt you and Uncle as my parents. Can I? Reginald finally snaps back to reality, totally forgetting his dislike for me, and furiously yells, stop messing around in front of Grandpa, rejecting your biological parents to call your eldest uncle your father. Where exactly does that leave my dignity? Plus, my older brother and sister-in-law do not have kids. The Vance family wealth will definitely go to their branch. So he is just panicked that if I claim them as parents, it will completely mess up his cut of Grandpa's inheritance. I say seriously, I am not messing around. Serafina laughs mockingly. You talk big, but aren't you just desperate to hold on to the title of the Vance family's young master? You even plotted this crazy scheme to make Uncle and Auntie your parents. I just reply back, you're the hilarious one here. What do you mean desperate to keep the title? I am the true young master of the Vance family by birthright. The pathetic person you're describing is actually Asher. He's clearly not the young master, yet he clings on for dear life, refusing to leave. Hearing me say this, Asher pretends to be upset, but he is secretly super smug. To him, this is a win-win situation. First, it absolutely guarantees he can stay in the Vance family. Second, if I stay the young master, he has the absolute perfect opportunity to force me into marrying the crippled eldest daughter of the Astor family. Grandpa Vance never expected me to pitch this wild idea. After a brief moment of surprise, he thinks it over. It is not impossible, but we must see if Uncle and Auntie agree. Auntie is obviously 100% on board. She has always dreamed of having children. Uncle Alaric, seeing his wife's excited face, instantly makes up his mind to say yes. But Beatrix is the very first to object. No way, Sterling is my biological son who I carried for 10 long months. Trust me. You are going to want to see this. How can we let him call his uncle and aunt his parents? Asher, who just sighed in relief thinking he was safe, hears this, and pure panic flashes across his eyes. But he quickly regained his total composure. He quickly realized that even though his mother truly cared, not being her actual biological son was definitely a massive hidden danger for the future. Stick with me, I mocked. Why not? Asher has zero blood ties either, yet you protect him, raise him, and let him call you parents. Beatrix choked on her words, taking a long while to reply. That is totally different. Asher lived with us for 20 years. We have a bond. I literally could not care less, looking seriously at Ara. Auntie, are you and Uncle willing to be my parents? Ara trembled immediately, looking at her husband for his opinion. Alaric nodded. Ara, I know you have always wanted a child. Now we finally have our own son. Seeing her husband agree, she immediately hugged me tightly, completely overwhelmed with pure joy. My good boy, I am your mother now. You are my precious son. Beatrix absolutely panicked. Sister-in-law, how can you do this? She could despise her real son, but absolutely could not stand the thought of him calling someone else mom. I naturally called out mom. Hearing this, Ara's heart completely swelled with pure happiness, but to Beatrix it sounded incredibly grating. Sterling, stop throwing a giant tantrum. I am your real mother. I pulled out of the embrace, looking coldly at Beatrix. Second aunt, do not speak out of turn. Your son is Asher. Beatrix's eyes completely widened in disbelief. I am your mother, not your aunt. She desperately tried stepping forward to pull me back, but Grandpa Vance fiercely struck his heavy cane against the floor. Enough. It is way too late for regrets now. I am making the final call today. My precious grandson will officially be registered under my eldest son and daughter-in-law. Watch closely now. You brought this entirely upon yourselves by rejecting your own flesh. Beatrix felt incredibly wronged. She never expected her biological son to be this completely unyielding. Just over some harsh words, he literally turned around and called her sister-in-law mom, proving his absolute ironclad determination. To completely seal the deal, I took my ID card and household registration book from my canvas bag, handing them straight to Grandpa. Sorry to trouble you, Grandpa. Please help transfer my household registration to Uncle and Auntie's family very quickly. Grandpa Vance took the documents and agreed, walking down the stone path leading back toward the East Villa. Ara was still buzzing with massive excitement. Her mind was entirely occupied with the amazing fact that she was now a mother. Alaric saw his wife so incredibly excited she almost tripped, quickly supporting her, his eyes full of pure, doting affection. Careful now, do not let Sterling laugh at us. She snapped out of it and calmed down, but still looked at me nervously. Sterling, there is nobody else here. Just tell us the truth. Were you really saying you wanted us as your parents? You were not just doing it out of pure spite, right? I never expected this choice to make my aunt so nervous. My heart grew even more resolute. Of course not out of spite. I genuinely like you both. From now on, you two are my actual parents. Ara breathed a massive sigh of relief and smiled brightly. Sterling, from now on, you are our true son. Nobody is ever allowed to take you away from us. Following them back to the East Villa, she held my hand, saying eagerly, Sterling, come, let Mom show you your brand new room. My room. I was completely surprised. How did you set it up so fast? Alaric smiled and kindly explained, your mother has always wanted a son, so a room was prepared in this house a long time ago. Hearing this, I felt amused and deeply touched. You feel that too, right? How should I put this? It was honestly a beautiful mutual two-way rescue mission. I followed them up to the 3rd floor, pushing the door open. I was instantly stunned by the wild sight before me. The room was entirely decorated in a teenage boy style, heavily featuring epic sci-fi themes and mecha models. But is this style a bit too sci-fi? It might not quite fit your current age now, Ara mused. If you dislike it, Mom will have people clear it all out tomorrow and redecorate it however you want. I shook my head. No need, just leave it exactly like this. It is just a place to sleep anyway. It is no big deal. Ara smiled with true satisfaction. You rest in the room for a bit. Mom will tell someone to bring your luggage up. After she left, I closed the heavy door and laid down on this intensely sci-fi bed. My phone suddenly buzzed. I rolled over and took it out to check. It turned out to be a text from my toxic ex-girlfriend, Priscilla. It was a message attached to a shiny photo of a luxury mansion. She wrote, "Sterling, see this. This is my brand new home. I am now the true eldest lady of the extremely wealthy Priscilla family living inside this mansion. Envious. If you regret it and want to get back together, I might reluctantly agree." I replied with an absolute deadpan, "You are an idiot." I promptly dragged Priscilla straight into my block list. Meanwhile, over at the West Villa, Beatrix sat heavily on the sofa, absolutely fuming with rage. Can you believe this? She fumed that the older brother and sister-in-law were actually trying to steal their biological son away. Reginald sat nearby, his voice totally dark. No matter what happens, we absolutely cannot let our son acknowledge my older brother as his true father. Stick with me, Serafina still considers him total trash. If Uncle and Auntie want to take him in, whatever, they can just pretend they are picking up recycled trash. Saves everyone the major headache of him annoying us at home. Did you guys see his attitude today? He totally used the Vance family name just to act super arrogant around us. If we actually took him back inside, who knows what he'd pull. Reginald looked closely at Serafina and Asher, explaining, "Serafina, Asher, you both saw Grandpa's mood today. Honestly, the entire Vance family fortune is supposed to be yours eventually. But if our real biological son ends up treating your aunt and uncle like his parents, sharing the Vance family wealth gets extremely complicated later. That is exactly why Mom and I fought him claiming them. It is not about missing love." Asher simply nodded. "Dad, I get it." Serafina honestly brushed it off. Why would Grandpa ever give him any money? Beatrix totally knew her daughter loved her little brother the most. She reasoned, even ignoring the fortune, we must help Asher safely avoid an arranged marriage with that eldest daughter from the Astor family. Should Asher really be forced to marry a disabled girl? Hearing this, Serafina bit her lip, staying silent. Beatrix then proudly added, "Mom's correct. Even as a total fake, you must put on a dramatic show for your real brother. Trick him into fully accepting you as his actual sister. Then we easily swap him into Asher's spot to marry that Astor family daughter, perfectly completing the annoying arranged marriage between our families." Reginald nodded, "Exactly right." Serafina paused for a second, then replied, "Mom, Dad, I know exactly what to do." Meanwhile, Asher headed back inside his room, grabbed his cell phone, walked over, and dialed a secret number. Now watch his pathetic act drops and his eyes instantly turn completely cold right here. "Is the job finished? Where is that video clip I ordered?" The mysterious voice on the line sounded totally disappointed. "Not yet. I couldn't reach our target at all since late last night." Asher exploded in pure anger. "What? What kind of absolute useless trash did you hire?" The caller just sounded totally helpless. I really didn't expect him to fail this badly. I nearly got booted from the Vance family today. If my secret leaks, don't you dare dream about getting one single penny here. Asher completely cooled off, replying coldly, "That guy you hired definitely hit major trouble. You better go hide out somewhere safe. Make sure this messy investigation never leads to me." Ending the call, Asher furiously smashed his phone right onto his bed. Absolute trash. Cannot even handle minor things. Meanwhile, Ara spotted Asher creeping suspiciously right outside her bedroom door, hesitating while gripping multiple shopping bags packed with expensive designer clothes. She was just getting up to check, but Eric gently stopped her. "I will go. I still remember that weird look he gave you today." Eric stepped right out, demanding, "Asher, what exactly are you doing in front of my place?" Asher practically stuttered. "Uncle, I figured Brother Sterling recently arrived back at the Vance family estate, and I worried he lacked nice clothes to wear around here, so I brought him my brand new unworn outfits." He gently lifted the bags up. "Uncle, may I come inside?" Alaric stared at him for a quick second. Seeing absolutely nothing suspicious yet, he replied, "Sure, enter." "Thanks, Uncle. Where exactly is Brother Sterling's room, third floor, middle room?" Ara anxiously watched Asher's back as he left. "Sterling really dislikes him. Maybe I should head upstairs and just keep an eye on them," Eric replied. "No need to worry. Just let Sterling handle this situation himself. He is smart enough to deal with it." The door finally opened. "You guessed it." Asher shoves the bags over. "Brother Sterling, I feared you might not have fresh clothes to wear since you just returned, so I specially brought these brand new designer outfits for you." I glanced down and coldly sneered. "Since you fully know I despise you, do not bother pretending to bring me anything." Asher acted super innocent. "Brother Sterling, I genuinely want to get along perfectly with you. Why must you always fight against me? This fight only ruins both of us." I smirked coldly. "Who gets ruined? You are definitely losing today. You know that, right? Asher's expression cracked, completely confused by my insane level of confidence. Sterling. Even though I refuse to start fighting you, and honestly could not care less about this, what makes you think you can win? Since childhood, do you realize exactly how many resources Mom and Dad dumped into me? Even top elite masters here in Kim City can barely challenge me, much less you, some random guy raised out in the distant countryside. He just stared at me with total pity. Sterling. If I stood in your shoes, I would quietly accept my parents and live perfectly comfortable forever, just relying firmly on my Vance family master status. Why gamble your entire future away over some pointless petty anger like this? I simply let out a bored sigh. Oh well, I guess these rich young masters in Kim City are seriously nothing special anyway. You cannot beat them. Asher goes speechless, glaring hard. We both know he is fuming. Sterling, you are too confident. Stick with me here. I told him I would wait and see exactly how he managed to steal my spot as the Vance family's young master. After that, he hung the fancy clothing bags on the door handle and turned to leave. He barely took 2 steps before hearing a loud crash. Turning around, he saw those so-called gifts I tossed, scattering wildly right across the floor. He faked total heartbreak. Sterling, even if you despise me, you really should not trash my good intentions. After all, growing up poor, you have probably never worn luxury brand clothes, right? Hearing that, I stomped directly on the clothes. So what, these are nothing special. I would not even bother wearing this stuff on a normal day. With that said, I turned to head downstairs. Right then, Asher dropped his voice low, just enough for me to hear him. Sterling, do you honestly think Mom and Dad would have brought you back to the Vance family if not for my help? I stopped moving and turned around. Done pretending, Asher looked incredibly smug. Do you know why they brought you back? I totally played along. Why? Because I refused to marry the Astor family's injured eldest daughter. Mom and Dad simply could not bear to watch my bright future get totally ruined. So they dragged you, the biological son, back here to take my place. Tell me, aren't you just totally pathetic? After that little speech, he let out a massively exaggerated sigh. I just smiled. Wow, such an amazing deal. Is the Astor family not a top-tier wealthy powerhouse? Getting to marry their eldest daughter is honestly something I could only ever dream of. Seeing I was not hurt at all, Asher grew frustrated. It felt like he just punched a soft pile of cotton. Here is where it gets crazy, so watch closely. He figured I was faking it. You do not actually know the truth yet, do you? The Astor family's eldest lady is injured. I stepped closer with a massive grin. So what if she is hurt? I can easily heal her legs. As for you, you despised her condition and cowardly refused to marry her. Later, when her legs are fully healed, do not dare regret it. Then I sharply changed my tone. Oh, by the way, that escaped convict from last night, you bought him off, right? Hearing the word convict, Asher went completely pale, but he still kept pretending. What? What, convict? I dramatically shook my head inside. Just be careful out there. The little gift you gave me last night, I will slowly return the favor. With that warning dropped, I whistled and walked downstairs with a light step. Asher clenched his fists tight, glaring at my confident back, his eyes growing significantly more malicious. After a quiet moment, he turned around, picked up the completely trampled clothes off the floor, and headed straight downstairs. At this time, Mom was holding a tablet, looking up and calling out to me. Sterling, come check out these clothes. Which styles do you actually like? Pick out a few tonight, and Mom will have someone bring them over for you to wear temporarily. Tomorrow, when we are free, Mom will take you shopping. Okay, thank you, Mom. I walked right over, acting a little spoiled. Walking behind me, Asher saw this sweet scene, gripped his clothing bags tightly, and forced a smile. Uncle, Auntie, Brother Sterling, I will be heading back now. Alaric gave a brief nod. Mom looked up silently, and neither said a single word. I turned around and smiled radiantly. I advise you not to come parading around me again just to completely humiliate yourself. Asher forced an awkward smile and quickly left the East Villa. Once he vanished, Alara asked, "What did he say to you?" I looked down at the tablet's clothing designs and smoothly replied, "I know what you are thinking, Wild, right? He claimed my aunt and uncle brought me back just to take his place and marry the injured Astor family daughter." Alara totally froze, looking at her husband. Her usually gentle eyes were suddenly blazing with pure anger. So second brother and his wife really had this awful intention. They are doing too much. Alaric wrapped his arm around his wife's shoulders, comforting her very gently. Do not worry. Sterling is our real son now. We will absolutely never agree to let Sterling take their adopted son's place and marry the Astor family's eldest lady. But I completely surprised them both, saying, "Dad, Mom, I am entirely willing to marry the eldest lady of the Astor family." Both of my parents were completely stunned. Alara snapped out of it and quickly explained, "Sterling, you just got back, so you do not know the complex situation with the Astor family. The eldest lady of this Astor family got into a terrible accident last month. Her legs are injured and she cannot even stand anymore." I smiled, totally unbothered. "I know, but it is fine. I am highly skilled in medicine. I am fully confident I can heal her legs." Meanwhile, at the West Villa, Beatrix looked at the clothing bags Asher brought back and instantly guessed exactly what just happened. Her eyes filled with dissatisfaction. "Asher, he did not accept your clothes." Asher looked hurt and gave a bitter, sad smile. "Yes, he still refuses to accept me." Serafina was highly displeased. "He truly does not know what is good for him. Asher, moving forward, you do not need to lower yourself to please him. He is just not worth it." Asher played the absolute perfect angel. "I just do not want you feeling stressed. You and I know he is faking. Trust me, you and I are going to love this family drama." Serafina's annoyance turns into fake affection. She claims protecting her little brother is completely natural. She tells him to stop worrying, saying the whole family wants to keep him. She says not to mind his attitude, even though Beatrix looked totally annoyed. He really loves throwing away his given respect. The very next morning, I decided to explore the massive Vance estate by walking around all by myself. Eventually, I paused right in front of a large building. Just then, out walks Asher. Decked out in a white suit and holding a foreign book, he looked like the ultimate artsy intellectual. Spotting me, he froze, but then a super mocking smirk appeared. He rushed over and completely faked an enthusiastic handshake. "Brother Sterling." "Good morning. Did you actually sleep well? Are you feeling uncomfortable around here?" After all, the massive Vance estate is totally different from the quiet countryside. Looking at this totally fake guy, I let out a cold laugh. I calmly asked if he was mocking me for being a country kid, unused to this rich lifestyle. Asher frantically waved his hands, acting totally innocent. He claimed I was just misunderstanding his true intentions. He swore he was only caring about me, but I wasn't buying a single word. "Stop acting so incredibly innocent." "I know exactly what you are thinking. With your mom locked away, you still have the absolute nerve to stick around the Vance family like a leech. Truly an eye-opener, but I am the actual young master of the entire Vance family. How could I ever sleep poorly like you?" With that, I aggressively yanked my hand right out of his. "Now watch this." With nobody else around, his smile vanished, and he dropped the whole act. "Sterling, a country bumpkin like you becoming a rich kid should be thanking the stars above. Why do you insist on opposing me?" he provoked. "Do you even know what this massive building is actually used for?" Without even waiting for my answer, he smirked. "It is where the true young masters of the Vance family come to study. Since I was little, top-dollar private tutors taught me all kinds of high-class talents right here. I wonder what skills you actually have. Probably absolutely nothing, right? It is a pity you are already so old. It is way too late to learn now. But hey, at least you can farm wash dishes and cook some food. I have no idea how to do those peasant chores." Before he finished, I raised my hand and delivered a beautiful high-definition slap straight to his smug face. He had zero time to react. Knocked straight to the dirt, he sprawled out on the floor. Glaring up with pure resentment, he was just about to open his mouth. But right then he spotted Serafina walking over. Instantly covering his face, his eyes turned bright red, playing the perfectly wronged and incredibly pitiful victim. Serafina saw the whole scene and stormed over furiously, quickly kneeling down to support him. "Asher, what happened?" He just covered his face, acting totally innocent. "I just asked him if he wanted to learn music, chess, or painting. If he wanted to, I was totally ready to teach him. I have no idea why he suddenly slapped me. I simply waved my hand and casually replied, 'You really do not know. It is because you are completely despicable.'" Serafina glared hard. "You dare hit him? Growing up, nobody has ever dared to bully Asher. You keep verbally attacking him, and now you actually lay a hand on him. Today, I am absolutely going to teach you a painful lesson. We both see this trap coming, right?" Asher smirked slightly, knowing Reginald was not wrong. Growing up, if anyone ever dared to bully him, Serafina would beat them completely senseless, no matter who they were. Unfortunately, before she could even get close, I delivered a lightning-fast kick to her knee. She completely missed me, tumbled forward, and slammed both hands onto the dirt, winding up kneeling directly in front of my feet. Before she could even react, I stomped hard onto her supporting hand and let out a massive, bored yawn. "You are so incredibly annoying. Second sister, are you really this weak? Asher totally did not expect me to hit Serafina. He stared at me in pure, absolute shock. You resent me and hit me fine, but why attack our second sister? I casually shrugged. Hey, she was the one who moved first. I was purely acting in self-defense. You uneducated country bumpkin, let go right now, or I will completely destroy your hand. Serafina screamed loudly, but I stepped down even harder. Forced to just groan in pure agony, she could not even curse at me anymore. Right after that, I took a step back. Asher frantically knelt down, grabbed her hand, and worriedly asked if she was actually okay. With his support, she tried standing, but that light kick was agonizing, coupled with her intensely throbbing. So what do you think, absolute perfection, right? With her trampled hand, she collapsed to her knees again as I laughed out loud. Let's dive right into this drama, Sterling sneers. Guess your knees love the floor. Serafina looks up completely humiliated. Fine, Sterling, she snaps back defensively. From now on, never call me your sister. Sterling laughs like it's the joke of the century. Accept you as a sister, I would rather adopt a dog. He turns and casually walks away. Why is Lady Serafina kneeling? Whispers a servant. I have no idea, and I definitely will not ask. The servant's whispers echo, pushing Serafina to absolute humiliation. She furiously screams at them, "What are you looking at? Are you total idiots? Hurry and help me up." The terrified servants jump in fright, rushing over to bring her inside. Asher carefully checks her injury. Second sister, your knee is badly bruised. I am sorry. This is all my fault. Serafina quickly comforts him. Asher, it's not on you. Sterling is just petty. He is jealous and literally cannot tolerate you. Frowning, she speaks resolutely. Asher, I have decided. To stop him from bullying you, we must make the whole family, especially Grandpa, absolutely despise Sterling. Then he can never hurt you again. Asher tries to speak, but Serafina's eyes are blazing with pure determination. Don't stop me. I've made my choice. How dare he refuse to tolerate you? A sneaky flash of triumph gleams in Asher's eyes. Perfect. Now he won't even lift a finger. Sterling and Serafina are officially at war. Meanwhile, returning home, Ara takes Sterling on a nice shopping trip. Watch closely because everything shifts here. Back home, the butler hands over the registration book. Sterling's transfer to Ara's household is officially complete. Ara's eyes light up. Before she can celebrate, a shrill voice interrupts. Sterling, you ungrateful wretch! We brought you back and you ignore us. Fine, but now you actually dare to strike your very own biological sister. Beatrix and Reginald storm inside with Serafina and Asher. Serafina is limping, her scraped hand heavily bandaged. Today I demand justice for Serafina. Beatrix looks incredibly wronged. Alaric and Ara just stare, completely and utterly exasperated. Second brother, sister-in-law, what is happening now? You even dragged Grandpa over here. Entering the grand hall, Beatrix deliberately shouts, Big brother, sister-in-law, do you realize what a massive disaster he caused today? Seeing Serafina's resentful glare, Sterling sneers. Second aunt, why are you screaming inside my house? What disaster did I cause? That title always makes Beatrix grit her teeth in pure fury. She points an accusing finger. Sterling, your tantrums have absolute limits. Now you dare hit your biological sister? You are getting way too arrogant, just relying on that Vance family young master title. Grandpa must teach you a lesson today. Ara grabs Sterling, quickly pulling him behind her. Things aren't clear yet. Don't scare Sterling. Alaric frowns deeply. Sister-in-law, explain properly. You see this chaos, right? Beatrix points right at Asher. Just look at his poor face and bruised knees. Sterling caused all of these injuries this morning, Serafina cries. Ara looks at Sterling, asking super softly, Sterling, what really happened here? Her voice is gentle, lacking any blame. Sterling admits frankly, Yes, I hit Asher's face and Serafina's knee, but they totally deserved it. Beatrix furiously glares. What absolute nonsense! How did they deserve it? Why hit my kids? Ignoring Beatrix, Sterling looks straight at Grandpa Vance. Grandpa, I know violence is wrong, but Asher was throwing serious insults right at me. I am your biological grandson, the true Vance family young master. An adopted kid dared to humiliate me. Tell me, Grandpa, did he deserve that slap? And Serafina, she tried putting her hands on me first. I kicked her knee purely in self-defense. Beatrix immediately fires back. You are lying. We have lived with Asher for 20 years. Do we not know his character? You are framing him. Serafina only hit you because you randomly attacked poor Asher out of absolutely nowhere. Sterling raises an eyebrow. Really, Asher, did you not insult me? Asher tearfully shakes his head. I never insulted Brother Sterling this morning. I just saw him standing outside the one-star building. I thought he wanted to learn music, chess, calligraphy, or painting, so I just went to say hello. Who knew Brother Sterling would think I was looking down on him and showing off? He just slapped me without a single word. I swear I had zero intention of humiliating him. Beatrix heartbreakingly caresses Asher's bruised face. My boy, do not cry. Why wouldn't Mom believe you? You've been obedient and sensible since childhood, raised by me. He's not terrible, she snaps. So what do you and I make of this wild cliffhanger? Let us dive into this wild drama. I told you Sterling just returned. He is stubborn. Brother, sister-in-law, you adopted him. Why didn't you discipline him so he wouldn't cause a massive disaster on his first day? After ranting, Beatrix spun around to complain to Grandpa Vance. Dad, I invited you here to uphold justice. You heard absolutely everything today. Whatever happens, I demand big brother and sister-in-law give me a proper explanation right now. Serafina and Asher cannot just get attacked for absolutely no reason. Grandpa Vance looked completely stone cold. What do you want? Beatrix patted Serafina's shoulder. Serafina, Asher, go ahead. Tell us exactly how you want to settle this massive fight. Grandpa will get justice for you today. Asher looked at me with teary eyes and whispered, I just want Brother Sterling to apologize to me. That is enough. Serafina claimed since he is Vance family, she will not demand an eye for an eye. She just wants him to apologize to Asher and sign an official agreement consenting to Asher staying permanently in the Vance family. Grandpa, my request is pretty simple, right? I just laughed coldly. Simple, forcing me to apologize to that absolute jerk is a massive insult. Serafina, you seriously know exactly how to make me sick. Then I looked at Grandpa. Grandpa, my household registration has already been officially transferred to my parents. I do not want second uncle and second aunt using our blood relation to constantly manipulate me in the future. Now pay close attention here. I need you as a witness. After resolving this drama, I am signing an agreement to permanently cut ties with them. Serafina laughed coldly. Permanently cutting ties. You think that is a threat? Not having you as a brother is honestly something I could only pray for. Seeing her precious children getting wrecked by me, Beatrix finally decided to stop putting up with me just for the sake of the family assets. Sterling, do you seriously want to sign a severing ties agreement? Once you sign it, regretting it later will be totally useless. Only a dog would regret it, I stated, then glared at Asher. You want to know why I hit them? Just listen and you will know. Asher completely froze. Listen to what? He panicked hard. Could it be impossible? Under Asher's pale, terrified gaze, I took out my phone and played a secret audio recording. Sterling, why are you still so totally clueless? Mom and Dad only brought you back so you could take my place and marry the eldest Astor family lady. A country bumpkin like you turning into a royal phoenix should be thanking the heavens. Why do you insist on fighting against me? You even went and made Uncle and Auntie your actual parents. Now you are stuck in the middle looking like an idiot. Embarrassing, right? Do you really think Uncle and Auntie genuinely like you enough to make you their son? It is only because you have the Vance family bloodline. Maybe later, if Grandpa is feeling generous, you might inherit a tiny little piece of the assets. Sterling, what useful talents do you even have? Probably nothing, right? It is a pity you are already this old. Too late to learn now, but it is okay. You know how to plant vegetables, farm, wash clothes, and cook. I do not know any of those basic things, so I might ask for your guidance. You saw this coming, right? Grandpa Vance's face turned incredibly ugly. I knew Asher's insults were secondary. The crucial key point was mentioning the massive Vance family assets. To Grandpa Vance, who still held absolute family power, someone plotting for his assets before he was even gone was like a rogue prince plotting for the throne while the emperor lived. An absolutely massive taboo. Therefore, I deliberately turned up the volume when Asher said those specific words. Asher stiffened up his brain, spinning rapidly to find a way to salvage his reputation. Serafina and Beatrix also panicked, thinking, oh crap, why did this adopted son talk about the assets? Talking is one thing, but getting recorded for Grandpa to hear Grandpa Vance's face looked as dark as a massive storm cloud. Asher, you are just an adopted Vance family son. I am not even gone yet, and you are already calculating how my family assets will be completely divided up. Asher's tears immediately began falling as he shook his head. Grandpa, it is not like that. Do not call me Grandpa. Grandpa Vance slammed his heavy cane hard against the floor. The recording is completely crystal clear. Am I deaf? Is that not your exact voice? Asher panicked. It is my voice, but the actual situation was not like that. Brother Sterling was constantly insulting me. I could not take it anymore, so I said those harsh words. Serafina found it incredibly hard to believe. Were those ruthless words in the recording really spoken by the gentle Asher? But she very quickly rationalized it. I must have absolutely provoked Asher, pushing him way past his limits and forcing him to retaliate with ugly words. She glared at me, eyes shooting fire. Asher is completely right. Who knows what horrible things you said to him beforehand to make him suddenly fight back like that? Grandpa Vance snorted coldly. Serafina, the undeniable evidence is right in front of you, yet you are still acting so foolish and completely unable to distinguish right from wrong. Sterling is right. You should be kicked out to fix that brain of yours. So what do you and I take from this? I put away my phone. Grandpa, his insults are one thing, but he claimed they only want your assets. Come along with me. I bet his uncle and aunt taught Asher to say that right. Hearing this, Reginald locked his sharp, icy eyes right on me. Uncle, do not glare at me. I am terrified. I hid behind Ara. She hugged me close, her voice incredibly strict. The whole situation is totally crystal clear. Your adopted son provoked Sterling, first running his mouth with so many absolutely outrageous claims. Plus, your adopted kid claimed you only brought Sterling back to replace him and marry the eldest lady of the powerful Astor family. Is this actually true? Nobody planned to expose this drama in front of Grandpa Vance. But we had completely reached our breaking point. Even if Sterling accepted the marriage, he refused to suffer this insult in silence. Meanwhile, Grandpa Vance looked absolutely terrifying and furious. Did this really happen? Beatrix stayed completely silent, but Reginald immediately denied everything. It is not like that at all. We just discovered Sterling is our real son. How could we plan for him to replace Asher and marry the Astor family lady? Hearing this, Asher gritted his teeth and took the heavy blame. I just wanted to stay, but Brother Sterling simply refused to accept me. He constantly tried to kick me right out. I was totally desperate and said those things on purpose. Hearing this excuse, Grandpa Vance glared strictly at Reginald and Beatrix. You two are the ones who desperately need to educate your adopted kid. Next time there is a silly fight and you ignore who is right or wrong, do not call me to intervene. Reginald silently nodded. Yes, I will go back and strictly discipline Asher. Beatrix felt so incredibly wronged. Now pay attention to this twist. She never expected her real son to actually record the audio. I turned to Grandpa Vance. Grandpa, we absolutely cannot let them off easily. My uncle and aunt violently barged into my home with their people and terrified me. Grandpa Vance shouted angrily. The four of you apologize to Sterling right now, Serafina complained in total dissatisfaction. Grandpa, even if we were wrong, he should not have gotten physical. What right does he have to demand an apology from us? I refuse! Grandpa Vance raised his heavy cane, ready to smack Serafina. Do you seriously dare to talk back to me right now? Beatrix quickly stopped him. Serafina, do not anger Grandpa, just quickly apologize to Sterling. I crossed my arms and mocked them. Hurry up! Uncle and Aunt, too! Asher finally spoke up, looking super fake and wronged. Brother Sterling, I apologize. Beatrix followed. Sterling, I am sorry I misunderstood you. Reginald stiffly and super reluctantly apologized. Only Serafina turned away, forcing out a bitter apology. I just acted totally magnanimous. Since you apologized, I will not make things difficult for you anymore. Next up is signing the agreement to sever ties, completely cutting off our relationship, Reginald said sternly. Have you really thought this through? I know what you are thinking. Once you sign, we stop caring about you, he warned. I laughed. Is my uncle seriously joking? You never cared about me for 20 years anyway. Alaric firmly cut in. Second brother, you really do not need to worry at all. Era and I will take excellent care of Sterling. Seeing my mind was finally made up, Grandpa Vance simply said nothing more. Sterling, about the family separation agreement. I will have the head butler deliver it tomorrow. After saying that, the butler assisted Grandpa Vance out of the villa. I watched him leave respectfully and bowed. Yes, thank you so much, Grandpa. Take care, Grandpa. Then I turned to my uncle and aunt, totally mocking them. Grandpa is finally gone. Why are you guys still standing around? Have you not been scolded enough yet? Beatrix was absolutely furious. Sterling, you really only ever help total outsiders. Serafina snorted coldly. Mom, do not waste your breath on him. Let us go. She pulled Asher away, but still dramatically looked back. Sterling, I really hope you do not regret this later and come crawling right back to beg for our precious forgiveness. Reginald originally wanted to use this petty fight to ruin my reputation with Grandpa. Instead, his plan completely failed and he coldly muttered, "I truly overestimated you." He waved his hand, leaving. Beatrix was completely livid. "My daughter is absolutely right. You will regret this in the future." She followed them out of the villa. Meanwhile, Asher secretly plotted how to explain the whole recording incident away. Serafina gently comforted him first. "Asher, do not overthink it. I understand you. If Sterling never pushed you, you obviously would not have done that." Asher looked incredibly wronged. "I always thought that if Brother Sterling treated me badly, I could just quietly understand it. But he repeatedly tramples on my pure intentions. I could not take it anymore. I just hoped Mom, Dad, and Brother Sterling would not fall out because of me." Beatrix looked at him with deep maternal affection. "What happened years ago can never be blamed on you. Your biological mother simply did that for your own good. She paid the heavy price and is in prison now. So what do you and I make of this?" He asked if she blamed him. Crying, Beatrix called him her true son. "Stick with me here, this family drama is wild. She adored her adopted son way too much to ever pick her real kid. She felt she had done enough for her real son. Honestly, if he were smart, he would have just quietly accepted his place." Reginald seriously warned Asher, "You really should not have let him find your weak spot this time. You need to be way more careful now." Asher nodded slowly. "Yeah, I totally never expected him to plot against me. I absolutely will not fail again." Beatrix looked worried. "After a fight this massive, I am honestly terrified he might refuse to marry the eldest lady of the Astor family." Asher bit his lip hard. "Mom, just let me marry the eldest Astor lady instead. That might actually calm Brother Sterling down." Serafina immediately shut that down. "Absolutely no way. You cannot marry her." Reginald agreed completely. "Asher, you are way too amazing. You truly deserve someone so much better. I have already lost my real son. If my adopted kid does not bring maximum value, I lose everything," Beatrix stated firmly. "I will handle the substitute marriage. I absolutely refuse to let you marry the eldest lady of the Astor family." Asher breathed a sigh of relief. Once Reginald's family left, they comforted me. "Sterling, we genuinely love you and want you as our son. It is definitely not about the Vance family money." I smiled warmly. "Mom, I know." She sighed inside. I never expected Asher to actually be that kind of person. I simply could not believe he said those things on that recording. Alaric was not that surprised. You might know a face, but never their true heart. Thankfully, we avoided total disaster, but we must stay on guard against the second brother's family from now on. I nodded slowly. "Yes, I completely understand." I laughed to myself. Since the moment I returned, I knew Asher would try something shady, so I came totally prepared. Now watch closely. When he provoked me, I instantly dropped that recording. Honestly, the guy was super sloppy, but he will definitely be way more cautious after this. Which makes this even more entertaining. I am the true young master of the Vance family. I am going to enjoy this title to the absolute max plus. I have plenty of time to mess around with Asher. At noon the very next day, before Grandpa Vance officially announced the cutoff agreement, Beatrix actually came looking for me all alone. I was chilling on a hammock in the front yard, catching some sun, with a giant banana leaf covering my eyes. Hearing her, I muttered lazily, "Where is that dog barking coming from? Weird. We don't own dogs, so why is one barking here every single day?" Beatrix knew I was insulting her directly. She looked absolutely furious, but swallowed her pride. "Sterling, this is a special gift Mom brought just for you. See if you like it." I glanced at her little gift. "A bank card," she explained. "There is 10 million on this card. It is a token of appreciation from your father and me. You suffered outside before. Just consider this 10 million as our compensation for the past 20 years. She tried forcing the card into my hand. I held it up, inspecting it closely. Wow, 10 million. Meanwhile, I was thinking 10 million barely covers the price of just one rare medicinal herb I grow, and I literally own a massive pile of them. This money isn't even 1% of my total herb funding. I pretended to get teary-eyed, completely fooling Beatrix into thinking I was moved. I knew deep down you still wanted to accept us back. After all, we share blood. I put the card down and just looked at her with pure disdain. Can you believe this, second aunt? You guys are dead broke yet. You still show your faces. She froze, absolutely furious. We are broke. This is 10 million. You could never earn this selling medicinal herbs your whole life. Now I am giving you 10 million and you actually turn your nose up at it. I sneered and threw that card directly at her face. I don't give a damn about 10 million. Do you have a mental problem? She was totally shocked by my move, stepping back twice and almost falling over. After steadying herself, she screamed loudly, "Sterling! How dare you treat your own biological mother like this?" I hopped right off the hammock, grabbed the banana leaf, and fanned it in her face. "Keep spouting nonsense, and next time I will throw bird poop at you. Believe it." She panicked and dodged. Finally, I just threw the banana leaf right into her face. She was stunned, stepping on the crushed leaf while trying to regain her composure. "Sterling, there is a limit to your anger towards us. You turned down 10 million, aren't you being too greedy? 10 million? You couldn't earn that selling herbs your whole life. You still don't know when to quit." I laughed coldly. "I really don't give a crap about 10 million. Even if you handed over the entire Vance family fortune, I still wouldn't forgive you." Beatrix's eyes visibly shifted. Stunned that I knew so much, I glared coldly. "Do not think I am clueless. You guys actually knew I was your biological son early on. But because you despised me, you just let me suffer outside. Since you treated me like this, don't blame me for not holding back." She was furious, her eyes burning with pure resentment. "You and I just witnessed peak drama." She grabbed a stick by the flower bed, marching over to strike me. The second that stick came down, I totally grabbed it forcefully, snatched it away, snapped it cleanly in half, and just tossed it like a piece of absolute garbage. "Stick with me here. I didn't return to play happy family with you guys. I actually came back to make your entire lives an absolute nightmare. Initially, my plan was taking over the whole Vance family fortune, but honestly, looking closer, everyone else in this huge family is actually pretty decent except for you. Therefore, completely ruining just your specific branch of the family will definitely be enough." Beatrix literally shook with pure rage. I spoke coldly. "Orion Vance manages Starlight Entertainment, right? Sure, he recently signed promising idols and made solid profits, but compared to the truly massive entertainment empires ruling Kim City, his little company is basically nothing. And Serafina doing music. She just dropped a massive hit song trending absolutely everywhere right now. But if a terrible scandal suddenly dropped today, could she possibly recover?" I gave a seriously malicious smile. "Second aunt, what exactly happens if I completely crush their careers today?" She angrily pointed at me, fully trembling. "What do you actually want?" I smiled. "I honestly just want to ruin your daughter's entire career. Is that truly so hard to accept? So Asher perfectly stealing 20 whole years of my life is somehow totally forgivable?" She completely froze. That intense question literally left her speechless. Why? Why else would it be? "Sterling, seriously think about it. I raised Asher for 20 whole years. Who cares if he isn't biologically mine? Even if he was just a pet dog, I would still deeply love him. Plus, Asher is literally a real, living and breathing human being. Now pay attention here." Beatrix looked super agitated, desperately trying to convince herself, since her perfectly obedient adopted son always kept her feeling so satisfied. She just kept nervously rambling. "I know that for my biological son this feels deeply unfair and harsh, but honestly, life is just inherently completely unfair. We can only say you got completely terrible luck." I stared at her and laughed loud. "It truly is terribly bad luck. How else did I end up with a mother like you?" She totally froze, but continued speaking extremely cautiously. "Sterling, I am actually your biological mother. I never once wanted to abandon you out there. Just come back and I will happily give you absolutely everything." I laughed completely coldly. "You refuse to drop your perfect fake son, yet you boldly claim I will get the absolute best treatment." What an absolute joke. She desperately tried saying more, but my patience vanished completely. "Just get lost. Hearing you speak literally pollutes my ears." Seeing me stand totally firm, her face flushed bright red. "How did I ever birth such an ungrateful, awful son like you?" She kept jumping up and down, yapping constantly. I just raised a broom, mimicking a shooing motion. "Are you going to finally scram or not? Scram or I'll poison you mute." Honestly, it was just simple itching powder. It lasts exactly 1 day, completely enough to make her suffer. Afraid something crazy might actually happen, she quickly grabbed the bank card loudly, cursed me as an ungrateful son, and finally turned around to leave. The second she left, the head butler arrived. "Young Master, the severing ties agreement has been fully prepared right under the Master's explicit orders. If the young Master has truly decided, please head to the Vance Family Ancestral Hall at exactly 8 p.m. tonight to officially sign this binding agreement. The Master himself will personally witness everything." I nodded with a huge smile. "All right, thanks for telling me, Uncle." He seriously rejected 10 million "I know what you're thinking." Reginald froze, pouring tea, totally shocked. Has a countryside brat ever seen such a massive, insane amount of money? 10 million, and he completely ignores it. Beatrix rubbed her sore throat, her voice totally filled with pure anger. It is actually not just that. He even threw out loud threats, saying he wants to completely destroy our family, ruining his sister's career. Reginald furiously slammed the teapot onto the table. He actually said that, of course he did. He knows we found out he was our real son ages ago, but totally ignored him for years, so he harbors deep resentment right in his angry heart. Hearing Beatrix repeat the story, Reginald deeply furrowed his brows. I can tolerate other things, but threatening my daughter's career, I will not let him off. Is this really true? Beatrix confirmed. 100% true. I completely regret not recording it for you to hear. I was so furious I almost fainted right on the spot. After speaking, she quickly felt a painful burning sensation in her throat, instantly chugging a massive gulp of the hot tea Reginald just poured. It truly seems he is completely determined to cut ties entirely. I might tolerate other things, but if he dares to covet our Vance family assets even as my real biological son, I absolutely won't spare him. Reginald slowly pondered. Beatrix asked, So, about him signing the severing ties agreement tonight, we just aren't stopping him anymore. Keeping this dangerous son around is essentially a massive disaster waiting to strike. Better to just cleanly cut ties. If he suddenly causes wild trouble outside, that will totally be big brother and sister-in-law's problem. Completely unrelated to us. Reginald would honestly never let anyone ruin his two children's careers. Their careers were developing incredibly smoothly, and all Vance family assets would definitely belong to them in the future. But now, with Sterling as a wild variable, it was very hard to say how assets would be divided. So where does this lead? The urgent plan is quickly making Sterling marry that worthless Astor girl, permanently separating him from the Vance family forever. Let us dive in. We need to quickly speed up this scheme, forcing Sterling to marry the Astor family lady instead of Asher, Reginald ordered with a stern face. Beatrix nodded in agreement. Asher simply cannot marry that injured woman now. Sterling is the absolute only backup option left. I will find time tomorrow to go talk to Grandpa. Over at Starlight Media, a very furious, cold-looking man sat behind his CEO desk. He was clearly not happy. I assigned you the critical task of buying the rights to Lily Evergreen's brand new book, The Chronicles of Azure. It has been almost 4 weeks. Why have you not even reached out? Do you even want this job anymore? Sweating bullets, the extremely nervous sales manager frantically explained himself. Her editor directly warned us that this famous writer is super elusive. Even her own team constantly loses touch. We just have to sit and wait for her to call us. Orion Vance glared fiercely. I do not care about your petty excuses. You have exactly 1 more week left. Fail to actually buy this copyright and you are completely fired. Scolded like a total amateur, the angry manager felt utterly fed up. Watch this tension right here, he finally snapped back. Boss, do you honestly believe snapping your fingers magically buys the Chronicles of Azure? That story is wildly popular. Huge rival companies want it too. Even if we manage to track down Lily Evergreen, she probably will not automatically sell it to us. Orion looked insanely furious now. Then why am I paying your salary? Should I personally step in? The manager quietly muttered under his breath. Even if you step in, they will not care about your ego. Speak 1 more word and I will physically throw you out. The guy desperately wanted to argue but just muttered, yes sir, and walked away. Orion tiredly rubbed his immensely aching temples. They recently blew millions hiring famous idols, but 2 straight movies tanked completely without generating a single massive viral hit. If he failed to create a blockbuster soon, Grandpa would start severely doubting his actual leadership skills. He badly needed an epic win to save face. Just then, the door swung wide open. Hey, big brother. Orion casually glanced up at his sister Serafina. What happened? Skipping her studio, Serafina stormed straight to her big brother, loudly complaining about everything that went down lately. You have been super busy at work. You have zero idea how miserably Asher is suffering at home. She furiously ranted about Sterling returning over the past 3 dramatic days. Orion frowned. Was he not just selling herbs in a village? He has literally zero education or background. Why is he acting so incredibly arrogant right after rejoining our mighty Vance family? Can you believe this guy? He slapped us. Serafina yanked her pant leg up, exposing a really nasty bruise right there. Look, brother, he kicked me so brutally he nearly broke my leg. Asher took a massive slap face, entirely bruised. You totally know how he is. Asher has never faced such brutal humiliation before. He has been crying nonstop over these past few days. His eyes are puffed shut. She threw her hands up. I cannot defeat him alone. You absolutely must help me. Orion stayed totally quiet, but his sharp eyes turned completely freezing cold. Got it. Sounds like I need to officially meet my wild biological brother today. His temper was already awful, and he really craved a punching bag. Since Sterling happily walked straight into danger, Orion planned absolutely zero mercy. At 2 p.m., despite it being late September, the blazing sun was still insanely hot outside. I was outside calmly drying herbs brought from TM Mountain. Out of nowhere, a harsh voice rang out loudly. You are Sterling, that long-lost biological brother they brought back. The arrogant guy facing me looked 25 or 26. His face definitely resembled Serafina, but appeared way more cold. Keeping my head down, I sorted my herbs and answered calmly. I am Sterling the Vance family young master, but I am not your little brother anymore. What do you actually want? He watched me hyper-focused on a grass pile, not even bothering to glance his way. Orion instantly realized Serafina was not exaggerating. This biological brother was wildly arrogant to the core, completely ignoring his presence. You know my identity, yet you dare act like this. He swallowed his massive rage, struggling to keep his composure. With your terrible attitude toward the family, I would act exactly the same even if our parents stood here. What kind of attitude do you expect from me? I finally looked up, eyes packed with pure sarcasm and contempt. Orion suddenly radiated freezing hostility. Clearly, this stubborn biological brother does not deserve my politeness. He marched right over and aggressively stomped on my drying herbs, violently crushing them under his shoe. I froze instantly, my glare turning dangerously razor-sharp. Finally giving him my direct attention, I stood up silently. Ignoring him, I just coldly channeled my epic powers to magically restore those crushed herbs back to perfect shape. He stood there totally shocked, then laughed cruelly. Serafina was definitely right. This is where we leave it, treating absolute weeds like treasure. He lifted his foot confidently, aiming to crush another precious plant. Stick with me, you and I are about to see just how much this crushed herb is truly worth. He chuckled coldly. Just 2 worthless blades of grass, right? Absolutely not. It is at least 50 million, I replied calmly. Auction starting bid 10 million. Fun fact, your own mother offered me 10 million just this noon, practically begging me to please take her back. But honestly, I totally ignored her. That chump change cannot even buy my herbs. Hearing this, his eyes froze over with absolutely lethal fury. I am not here to joke around with you. How are you paying me back, cash or direct transfer? He aggressively stomped the ground again. Refusing to pay up, think I am completely powerless. I just ignored his tantrum and quietly watched him. Refuse to pay, then your leg is mine. Orion, absolutely losing his mind, violently grabbed my collar. Keep running your mouth and I will absolutely destroy you. Staring at his enraged face, I just laughed. Orion, too bad you haven't finished me off yet. Sadly, you will fall first. Gasping for air, he furiously roared out for his guards. Right away, 4 bodyguards rushed in and surrounded me. Grab him and take him away. I stayed completely still, putting up zero fight. The guards dragged me from the East Villa, shoved me right into a waiting car, and we immediately sped off. 2 hours pass. Now watch closely as they drag me out and violently shove me into this abandoned factory. I rolled, caught my balance, and checked around. Judging by this setup, things are going to get intense. I already knew my so-called family felt nothing for me, only caring for Asher. Still, I honestly never expected them to be quite this ruthless. My 20 years of outside suffering suddenly tasted so incredibly bitter. But whatever. Zero anger here. I am definitely not taking this disrespect lying down. Orion told the guards to hold the entrance, keeping 2 goons inside before slamming the door shut. He glared at me coldly. Nobody will ever find out if I erase you here. I just grinned. Yeah, fantastic spot. Whatever happens in here, nobody will ever know. His stare was practically frozen over. I am definitely not like your second sister. My temper is awful. When I strike, I will not waste a single word. Since we actually share the exact same parents, I will pity your total ignorance of our strict rules and give you one final chance. Kneel and apologize to Asher. Slap yourself exactly 100 times, and I might let you walk. Kneel, apologize, and slap myself. You really call this an actual opportunity? Orion just glared at me and sneered. Even though we are biological brothers, I honestly feel absolutely nothing for you. I literally watched Asher grow up. How could you ever compare to him? But if you apologize and swear to stop causing trouble, I might spare you for our family tie. Can you believe this guy? I seriously laughed until I cried. Orion, you are totally hilarious. Everyone in the Vance family speaks in such an insanely ridiculous way. You shower your absolute worst enemy's son with so much love. Fine. When you have a kid, I will swap them out so you can happily raise your enemy's child. Meanwhile, your own true child will be tossed out into the terrible slums. How does that sound? His eyes were freezing, overflowing with pure destructive fury. You dare, I smiled. Why so angry? Does it matter if they are biological? Even raising an enemy's child builds up strong feelings of love, right? So why should you even care? I just kept mocking him. Absolutely furious, he grabbed my shirt. Enough, Asher is totally different. That was his crazy mother's doing. He snatched a sharp knife from a bodyguard. Since you are so stubborn, do not blame me for going hard. I am going to carve a few nice lines into your face, turning you into a freak, so you cannot embarrass Asher ever again. Right as he went to strike, his hands mysteriously lost every bit of strength. The sharp knife simply clattered onto the floor. His whole body suddenly felt weak. His legs completely gave out and he stumbled. What is happening? He panicked in shock. I happily clapped my hands. You are poisoned, while he struggled, staying upright. Seeing things turn super bad, the two giant bodyguards aggressively lunged forward to tackle me. But exactly like Orion, their legs instantly turned into jelly. They heavily crashed to the floor, violently twitching. I just chuckled. The exact second you idiots grabbed me, you were already severely poisoned. Realizing his bad disadvantage, Orion gathered all his strength and desperately roared, "Guards! Something is incredibly wrong. Get in here and rescue me right now," but the moment those exact words left his mouth, he totally collapsed, smacking his head extremely hard against the concrete floor. I calmly crouched down near him. Stop yelling. Those useless outside guards are passed out too. Nobody is coming to save you now. Since you refused to compensate me, your leg is the payment. He furiously roared. You dare. I playfully tilted my head. Why on earth wouldn't I dare? Honestly, did you think I would go easy? I grabbed that sharp knife casually, waving it right by his face. What exactly were you threatening to do to me again, carving a few lines onto my face? Man, that is just so unbelievably ruthless. I am your actual biological brother, yet you wanted to ruin my face just to vent anger for Asher. It breaks my heart. And this is where we leave him. Orion struggled up, but his trembling hands instantly turned to pure mush. Stick with me for this wild revenge story. He grew weaker, finally giving up. Glaring at me, he snapped, If you lay one finger on me, Grandpa will kick you straight out of the Vance family. Did you really think Grandpa would pamper you just for being the true heir? I am the most important person to Grandpa in the Vance family. Once you are kicked out, I have a million ways to ruin you. I twirled my blade, acting conflicted. But I do not need Grandpa to back me up. What should I do? I could not care less about the Vance family assets. I only came back to see how you live and if you felt any guilt for what I endured. But it turns out nobody in your family feels guilty. Oh well, I guess I will just have to let you taste a little pain. Saying that, I dragged him right into a corner and propped him up. No one can hear you here, so feel free to scream your lungs out if it hurts, I offered with a grin. I flipped the blade, crouched in front of Orion, and sliced open his fancy pants, exposing his leg. At this point, he finally panicked hard. It seemed he truly feared I would go through with it. Sterling. I am warning you. Do not do anything stupid. We can talk this out. You wanted $50 million in compensation. Fine. I will pay you immediately. Watch closely because payback starts now. Before he finished, Orion screamed in agony from the intense pain in his leg. A dark stain dripped onto the floor. Orion broke out in a cold sweat. Seeing me holding the blade, preparing to completely slice the tendons in his leg, his pure fear became totally palpable. Sterling, I am giving you one last chance to stop. If you actually dare to cut my tendons, I will never let you off. His agonized screams echoed loudly all through the cold, dark, and abandoned factory walls. Wow, hurts a lot, does it not? You are screaming way too loud. I pulled a silver needle from my sleeve and pierced it right into his neck. Keep quiet for a bit. It is getting annoying. This time Orion could not make any sound. He could only stare blankly as I held the knife against his leg, letting out completely helpless, muffled groans. Tears mixed with sweat rolled down from the corners of his eyes. The excruciating pain made it impossible for the guy to resist. I still did not stop. Bear with it. I am great at medicine, so cutting a tendon will not take very long. Eventually, Orion passed out from the pain. Useless trash, passed out already. I stopped, pulled out the silver needle blocking his voice, and pierced another pressure point to wake him up. Orion opened his eyes and finally met my gaze. I know what you are thinking, this is brutal. Awake. Do not pass out yet. If you pass out cutting, it will not be fun. My demonic words made him curse furiously. Sterling, you will suffer a terrible fate. You can keep cursing. I will not get bored. I satisfyingly picked up the knife. I am going to continue cutting your tendon now. With another slice of the knife, Orion screamed tragically again, his face turning terrifyingly pale. But this time he did not pass out. Done. I only cut the tendon in your right leg this time. You should be glad since you used your right leg to stomp my herbs. I tossed the knife aside, shoved an antidote pill into his mouth, and proudly stood up. Try walking and see if your right leg still works. Orion realized he could move again and gritted his teeth as he stood up, but his right leg only radiated agonizing pain. It had absolutely zero strength. His heart sank to the bottom of an abyss. His right leg was truly crippled. He obviously came to teach his biological brother a lesson and vent anger for Asher. How did it end up like this? He could not accept reality and screamed, "Call the police! I do not want to be a cripple watching him break down. I felt bored. I thought you were so tough, but you broke down after just one single cut. Makes perfect sense. People raised in a pampered greenhouse really are so fragile." Just as I was about to leave, I heard clapping behind me. Clap, clap, clap. I narrowed my eyes and turned around, totally surprised to see someone I did not expect. Why are you here? Was not this fairy-like woman the exact same one who came to the village looking for me? Lyra smiled warmly and gestured for her assistant Bastion to push her wheelchair forward. I originally wanted to come see the place that crippled my legs. I truly did not expect to witness such an entertaining show. Truly spectacular. I tilted my head looking at her. So you were kidnapped, brought here, and had your legs broken? Lyra nodded, touching her legs, her eyes casting downward, her eyelashes fluttering as if recalling a bad memory. Just like your brother, my legs were also broken while I was fully conscious. I am not great at comforting people. For 20 years, I survived countless dangers through pure resilience and improving myself, not useless pity. As long as I have talent, I will pay any price to reach the absolute top. Nobody can surpass me. Lyra, do not worry. I said I could cure your legs, and I definitely will. She looked right up and smiled brightly. I believe you. She rolled closer, using a handkerchief to wipe the mess off my hands. And trust me, you are going to want to see what happens next. Stick with me here. Seems you are not as comfortable in the Vance family as you claimed. I grinned, watching her closely. Very comfortable indeed. I just handled someone smoothly, I joked. She smiled back. I pressed further. So how exactly did your legs end up broken? Are you in the mood for story time? I am totally free now. I am in zero rush to return to the Vance estate. Pushing her wheelchair from behind, I noticed her looking down with a soft smile. I can tell you if you want. Of course I do. Give me every detail so I can understand you a lot better. She meticulously wiped my hands. I teased, did you ever do this for Asher? She kept wiping anyway. Not at all. Her assistant Bastion quickly chimed in that the young miss truly never had. I kept joking around. Even if you did it for him, your assistant might not know. Bastion smiled and admitted I was the very first. Lyra tossed the crimson handkerchief aside, then pushed her wheelchair a little further away. Staring intensely, her gaze held firm. My absolute honor, I replied. The honor is mine. Lyra glanced down at Orion on the floor. Now pay close attention. He is the eldest Vance master. How will you explain crippling his leg when you finally head back? I just shrugged. How about I silence him permanently and wreck both his hands? That way this little secret will never ever get out. Hearing this, a panicked Orion dragged his wrecked right leg crawling toward the door. Are you serious? Lyra simply laughed. That is a solid idea, but please just leave him to me. This is my family business. I really should not bother you with this. Moving forward, I am your fiancé. Is your business not my business too? I laughed. I was doubting it. First time you have treated a man this well. Walking right over to Orion, I blocked his path, pulled a tiny porcelain bottle from my pocket, and forced him to swallow a strange pill. He coughed violently, desperately trying to spit it out. Useless. The pill had already dissolved, leaving a suspiciously sweet taste in his mouth. What did you just feed me? He already knew I would never give him anything good. It is just a special little elixir. When it flares up, you will wish you vanished completely. Behave, and I might hand over the antidote. Otherwise, enjoy the endless agony." Orion refused to believe it. He never heard of anything that powerful. Before he could finish his sentence, I snapped my fingers. Instantly, he felt his internal organs getting brutally squeezed and entirely crushed. The agony was absolutely unbearable. When it faded, he looked completely drained, gritting his teeth in fury, but way too terrified to even speak. His entire existence was truly in my hands now. Realizing this, Orion tightly closed his eyes in utter despair. "You saw that coming, right?" I clapped. "Orion is heavily injured. He cannot return to the Vance family right away. Let him stay with you for a little bit. I will pick him up tomorrow." Lyra signaled Bastion, who hoisted Orion right onto his shoulder. Walking out of the factory, the 4 bodyguards Orion brought were also dragged away by Bastion. The abandoned factory was finally empty, leaving just me and Lyra. Nobody to disturb us. "Now tell me your story. I am incredibly curious about you." Lyra smiled. "Okay, but this place kills the vibe. Let me take you somewhere far more peaceful." I easily agreed. This peaceful spot Lyra mentioned was hidden in the distant suburbs, tucked right between huge mountains beside a babbling little stream. Near the stream was a pavilion. "You did not build this yourself, right?" I leaned comfortably against a solid stone pillar, fully enjoying the gentle evening breeze. Lyra nodded. "Whenever my mood drops, I come sit here." "Well, that was before my legs were totally ruined. What could possibly make you sad? You come from insane wealth, living so carefree. Is having way too much money your biggest struggle right now?" I tilted my head closely, studying the beautiful girl by the stone table. The sunset beautifully illuminated her delicate face, pale gold light shimmering across her cheeks, making my heart skip a beat. She just chuckled softly. "Very true. Before this incident, my life was smooth sailing. I honestly never faced any real painful hardships. My only worry was company profits dropping." Lyra sighed, smiling bitterly. "Until this horrible accident. My legs were crippled and everything suddenly changed. The past respect and care completely vanished, instantly replaced by endless mockery and cold alienation. Looking at the smiles they give me today, everything feels incredibly fake." I simply shrugged. "Completely normal. When people crash from the top, kindness disappears fast, leaving only fakes kicking you while you are entirely down. True loyalty during hard times is incredibly valuable." Lyra stared. "Here is the crazy part. Others run, you stay." I laughed. "I am not helping from pity. It is just a mutual benefit. I am just after your stunning looks, plus you have something I need." Saying that, I bent down. "Let me check your legs." Lyra joked I should be glad my legs broke, not my face. "Stick with me here." I checked her injuries, and Lyra just chuckled, finally sharing her family's wild history. The Astor family was absolutely massive. Her dad had 6 siblings. Gideon Astor was the youngest and totally useless. But then Lyra showed her insane talents, winning Grandpa over and instantly boosting her dad up the ranks. "I have a little brother 5 years younger than me. Right after his birth, some fortune teller warned my superstitious grandpa that this kid would completely ruin the entire Astor family legacy. Ignoring my mom completely, he shipped my brother away. Besides Grandpa and Dad, literally nobody knew his actual secret location. My mom fell into deep despair and tragically passed away from illness soon after. Using her legendary skills, she won Grandpa over and smartly pushed to finally bring her little brother home. 3 years ago, she finally brought Kaylin back, plus an orphanage girl named Nia. Nia was not actual family, but she always stuck by Kaylin like absolute glue. So I treated her like a true sister. A month ago, Nia got taken. The kidnappers demanded I show up completely alone. Now watch this closely. I was not dumb enough to go solo, so I hired backup, but someone completely leaked my entire strategy to the enemy. Back then, I literally had 0 time to figure out who the traitor was. I only cared about saving Nia, so I went totally solo. She was dragged to that abandoned factory. Her legs were totally crushed and she was tossed aside like trash. Luckily, Bastion showed up with his crew just in time to rescue both girls. I thought deeply and said, "Listening to this, it sounds like they were targeting you specifically." What did the investigation uncover? Lyra just gave me a bitter smile. First, we suspected a spy, but eventually we realized the mastermind was likely Kaylin. My very own biological brother. She paused, genuine pain flashing in her eyes. Initially, I was completely clueless about his motives, but after locking myself away and obsessing over it day and night, I finally pieced the puzzle together. He probably felt bitter. Why did I get a luxurious life with the Astors while he was left to rot in some lonely orphanage all those years? So what is your next move? Take brutal revenge on your own brother. My eyes turned ice cold. To me, absolutely nobody is more important than myself. If he actually loved you, why do that? Since he hurt you, he deserves maximum payback. Family ties mean absolutely nothing to me if they act like pure enemies. I only protect the people who are genuinely loyal to me. A dangerous spark flashed in Lyra's eyes. I know what you are thinking. I nodded hard. Exactly right. If my own brother acts like an enemy, why should I ever go easy on his betrayal? Lyra stayed totally silent, thinking deeply before smiling with pure relief. Honestly, I came here today wanting to clear a few things up, but seeing your ruthless style, I know exactly what I need to do. I smiled with satisfaction, glad you finally understand the game. Lyra stared right at me. Her eyes held this intense determination and surprising softness I had never seen. Sterling, meeting you was truly my greatest luck. I just froze my fingers, subconsciously curling up to touch my lips. I coughed awkwardly twice, trying hard to mask the sudden embarrassment in my chest and playing it totally cool. Why say that so seriously? Lyra just smiled. Not serious. I was worried you would think I treat absolutely everyone this well. Are you trying to tease me now? I suddenly realized her cold, serious vibe earlier was just a complete act. You really do become who you hang around. Get near ink, you turn black. Step into the light and you absolutely shine bright. After checking out her legs, I stood up and clapped my hands. All done. I finished the preliminary check on your injuries. Meet me here tomorrow at noon for treatment. It is getting super late, and I have major business to handle tonight. I cannot stay here. Lyra's eyes definitely showed a hint of reluctance, but she still managed a smile. Okay, see you tomorrow. Around 7 p.m., Ara and Eric finally returned home after buying massive supplies for the welcome banquet. They had not seen me all day, and my phone was silent. Spotting the maid Martha in the courtyard, they rushed right over. Martha, have you seen Sterling? She quickly replied, honestly, no. But at noon, the second madam showed up and argued heavily with the young master. Then she stormed out. After that, I was drowning in chores and lost track of him entirely. Hearing that Beatrix came looking for me, Ara got super worried. What is their problem? First, they refuse to claim Sterling, but the second he tries to cut ties, they just will not stop pestering him. Ara was totally sick of Reginald and Beatrix. Are they seriously terrified that if we adopt Sterling, he will steal Grandpa's massive inheritance? Do not stress. Sterling is smart and has a mind of his own. He will be okay. Eric held his wife's hand, comforting her. But it is so late. If he was safe, he should have called us. Ara called again. No answer. She stormed off to confront Beatrix. Trust me, things get crazy. All right, you and I are jumping straight into the drama. Arriving at West Villa, they run right into Beatrix's family. Big brother looking for us. Perfect timing. We're actually heading to the ancestral hall right now to officially sever all ties with Sterling. Wait a minute. Alaric zeroes in on her. You went looking for Sterling earlier today, didn't you? Beatrix nods. Yeah, so what, I just gave him a chance to crawl back. But Alaric is frantic. Sterling is missing. His phone is off. What exactly did you say to him? Beatrix rolls her eyes. Sister-in-law, what is that supposed to mean? Him going missing has absolutely nothing to do with me. Think I kidnapped him. Meanwhile, Asher stands in the back, a smug little grin hiding in his eyes. Serafina chimes right in. Auntie, he probably just regrets everything. He chickened out of signing the family separation agreement and ran. But Alara is shaking. Sterling is actually missing. I'm so worried about him. Beatrix just sneers. Big brother, sister-in-law, honestly, compared to you two, Sterling clearly prefers us his real parents. You wasted all that effort playing nice just to get totally let down in the end. Asher is secretly gloating, desperate for that contract to get signed. Alaric's expression completely thunderous. Beatrix, I am not joking. Sterling is my boy now. If anything happens to him, I will make you pay. He threatens. Beatrix shoots back, totally unbothered. Who's afraid of who? Now watch closely. Things get super vicious here. You can't even have kids, so you steal ours. Dare to lecture me. Hearing this, Alaric's face instantly darkens, voice turning to ice. Reginald, control your wife. After everything with Sterling, Reginald honestly doesn't care about ruining his relationship with his older brother anymore. Big brother, Beatrix isn't wrong. You two don't have kids. The issue is clearly with you or sister-in-law. Alara ignores the brutal sarcasm, completely focused on my safety. If anything bad happens to Sterling, forget about living peacefully. Beatrix scoffs. Who are you scaring with this fake loving mother act? Drop it. If something happens to that kid, he brought it on himself. What's it got to do with me? Beatrix refuses to back down. Alaric wraps his arm around Alara, glaring coldly at his brother. Reginald, back in the day, I only cared about peace. I handed over everything in this family to you and your kids. But now it seems Sterling was right. You people absolutely do not deserve it. From now on, I'm fighting for every single Vance family asset, and I'm leaving it all to Sterling. I will never back down to you again. Reginald smiles completely cold. Big brother, if you can't fight, so be it. Why pretend you yielded? You two don't even have an heir. What exactly are you going to use to fight? Relying on the trash son we threw away? You feel that tension, right? Then boom, an arrogant voice echoes. Whatever weight second uncle carries, I carry too. Everyone whips around. It's me, completely safe and sound. Alara and Alaric rush over instantly. Sterling, where on earth did you go? Are you okay? You weren't picking up. You scared Mom half out of her mind. Alara grabs my shoulders, frantically checking me for any injuries. I flash a smile. I'm totally fine, Mom. I just wanted to take a quick walk outside and completely lost track of time today. Alara checks me over thoroughly. Seeing I'm perfectly fine, she finally breathes easy. Why didn't you answer your phone? I put on a helpless act. I accidentally dropped and lost it. The truth. It fell when Orion dragged me away. Heading back after splitting up with Lyra, I noticed the phone was totally gone. I knew my new parents would be worried, but marching straight to Reginald's house to settle the score, I definitely didn't expect them to go this far. Their fierce dedication genuinely moves me. Thank goodness you're safe. Meanwhile, Asher is frowning hard. He's panicking, thinking, how is this even possible? Big brother Orion personally handled him. How the heck did he come back completely untouched? Did he actually talk Orion out of hurting his own biological brother, Beatrix? Just snorts coldly. Look, your precious son is back. He is perfectly fine. You came to my house causing massive drama for literally no reason. So unreasonable. Alara, sick of Beatrix's family looking down on me, grabs my hand tight. Sterling, let's go right now. Time to sign that family separation agreement. Seeing my new mom way more hyped than I am, I actually burst out laughing. Yes, Mom, Beatrix huffs aggressively. Then go sign it. Let's see who ends up regretting this. At the Vance Ancestral Hall with Grandpa Vance watching, I stand tall before the family tablets. Without hesitation, I sign my name to permanently sever ties. Your turn now. I smile brightly at them. Reginald and Beatrix don't even hesitate, aggressively scribbling their names onto the contract. Snatching up my copy of the contract, I lay it out. From today on, I am totally severed from you people. Zero contact. Beatrix slams her pen onto the heavy table. I will be watching to see what kind of massive joke you and your new parents become. I flash a radiant smile. Second aunt, forget what I told you this noon. You really better tell your golden son to be careful. Beatrix scoffs. Keep dreaming, but honestly, you and I both know she's terrified now. Let's dive into the ultimate family showdown. Grandpa Vance raised his hand, his sharp gaze locking onto his two sons. I called you both here. First, Sterling is officially cutting ties with you. Second, we need to discuss the family fortune. Hearing this, Reginald's face lit up with pure greed. Grandpa Vance sighed deeply. I am old. I do not have much time left, so we must make things crystal clear right now. The capable heirs will inherit the real fortune. The useless ones, you just need to behave, stay quiet, and absolutely stop causing trouble for us. Do that and you live comfortably. Reginald smirked, glancing at his older brother. Big brother, hear that useless people should just behave. At least you will get a cozy life. Before Alaric could even speak, I shot Reginald a look of pure disgust. Acting like a total clown. Reginald scowled. Second uncle, stop yelling. You have zero right. I just smirked, waving the freshly signed separation agreement high in the air. Grandpa Vance spoke up. Enough, the rest of you can leave now. I need to have a private chat with Sterling. Walking out, Reginald gave his brother a totally fake, helpless look. Big brother, did you understand what Dad was actually saying in there? I control Vance Pharmaceuticals, the absolute core of our family, and Orion is running Starlight Media perfectly. Serafina just debuted with a massive hit album. Seriously, big brother, how are you going to fight me for the family assets? This massive fortune belongs to my side. Eric just stared back. Dad is still breathing, you know. Do not celebrate too early. Reginald laughed, patting him on the shoulder. Your denial is truly incredible. Just pray Dad lives longer so you can enjoy our luxury a bit more. watching them walk away. Eric let out a sigh. If Sterling had never returned, I would not have realized this family was so incredibly cold and ruthless. I was so naive. I thought brothers should never fight to the bitter end over inheritance money. If he wanted the money and status, I always backed down. But things changed. For Sterling, I have to step up and fight. Inside the hall, she looked right at me, eyes gentle but incredibly determined. We might not care about wealth, but Sterling cannot suffer. We want to give him everything. Now watch closely, this is huge. Grandpa Vance stood by the tablets, locking his serious eyes right on me. Suddenly he spoke. Sterling, since returning to the Vance family, you chose your eldest uncle and aunt to be your parents. You are now a true, wealthy young master of the Vance family. I am not a fool like your uncle treating another man's son like a precious treasure. I nodded confidently. Absolutely, Grandpa. I am the real heir of this powerful family. After hearing Asher's crazy audio recording yesterday, Grandpa Vance thought deeply before letting out a sigh. Asher is highly educated, but you dropped out after middle school. Even if I pull strings to get you into a top university, it changes nothing. I cannot force you to repeat high school all over again. So what is your plan? What do you want to learn? Seriously, how will you build your future? He explained further. Your biological parents turned Asher into a famous national genius. That is exactly why they refused to just let him go. That nonsense about 20 years of emotional attachment is total garbage. I got it immediately. To survive here, I had to completely crush Asher's legacy. You saw this coming, right? I only dropped out because I mastered textbooks just by skimming. School was just a total waste of time. I had someone quietly buy me textbooks, and by 16, I completely self-taught the entire high school curriculum university subjects I actually liked, plus a massive ton of crazy survival skills. This wealthy elite circle will swallow you whole without leaving a single trace. To earn real respect here, you absolutely need true skills that make everyone value you. Consider this your very first lesson from Grandpa since returning as my true biological grandson. Grandpa Vance looked at me strictly. I just smiled. Do not worry, Grandpa. This place is way easier to survive in than my harsh past. I know survival, the things Asher learned are literally just for pleasing crowds. But my skills make people beg me? He looked surprised. What do I know? It is a long story. I know plenty like advanced medicine. Grandpa Vance narrowed his eyes with clear suspicion. He already investigated and knew I lived in the countryside selling medicine and treating illnesses. So you really do not feel inferior to Asher at all. I refuse to show any weakness. Of course, Grandpa, I will not just surpass Asher, but I will beat Orion and Seraphina too. If I prove my skills, will you hand Vance Pharmaceuticals and Starlight Media directly over to me? Grandpa Vance was stunned by my pure arrogance. Did this kid actually have skills? The Vance family was slowly falling apart because the youth lacked spark. The eldest son had talent but zero drive. The second son had massive ambition but terrible skills, constantly ruining absolutely everything. Trust me, Orion and Seraphina had some real talent. Stick with me here. To expand, the Vance family relies on arranged marriages. Grandpa Vance thinks deeply, saying if he can truly surpass his father and cousin, I will hand over Vance Pharmaceuticals and Starlight Media directly to you. You must keep your word, he demands. Grandpa agrees, refusing to underestimate the young heir. Show your true ability and you will inherit the entire Vance family empire, he waves dismissively. It is getting late. Go rest with your parents now. I am retiring for the night. Offering a polite goodbye, he exits the grand ancestral hall. Grandpa Vance watches his retreating figure, sighing heavily to the head butler. This grandson is truly ice cold, entirely without an ounce of human warmth. The head butler smiles. The young master is incredibly brilliant, but after suffering so many hardships, he absolutely refuses to tolerate even the slightest bit of disrespect. Totally makes sense. Wandering alone for 20 long years, you simply do not survive on kindness and warmth alone. Grandpa Vance gazes deep into the distance, his heart completely full of massive expectations. He desperately wants to see what this ruthless grandson can truly achieve. Ara and Alaric wait anxiously in the pavilion outside the massive ancestral hall. They rush over immediately. Sterling, what did Grandpa say? Honestly, nothing much. Just asked about my plans. He smiles. She sighs in relief, asking how he replied. He speaks calmly. I asked if surpassing Reginald and Orion means he will hand me Vance Pharmaceuticals and Starlight Media entirely. Both are totally stunned. Ara laughs loudly. Mom thought you would just study art or music. Mom, I want much more than that. Fully grasping the Vance family assets is the only way to secure our future. Alaric nods in agreement. We never cared about the massive family fortune before, but everything is totally different now that we have you. We must fight for your security, he smiles. Exactly. I want the whole fortune. Night falls. Lyra enters immediately, hearing Kaelin speaking up. You and I need to watch closely. Cullen calls her late while Bastion turns the wheelchair, Nia gloating. Lyra completely ignores her vicious look. Nia smirks. Just getting fresh air. Kaelin stares at Lyra's injured legs, faking deep concern. Eldest sister, you really should go out less in the future. What if another terrible accident happens? Nia plays the victim perfectly. My fault. If you had not saved me, your legs would not be totally crippled. That massive engagement with the Vance family young master gets announced next week. I seriously wonder if the Vance family will cancel the engagement over this condition. Would they actually still marry their precious young master to eldest sister? She keeps pushing. Plus, rumors say you did not just break your legs, but completely lost your ability to ever have children. The Astor family heir position is ruined. Kaelin pretends to scold her. Nia, what absolute nonsense are you saying? She covers her mouth, acting perfectly apologetic. Oh, I am so sorry, eldest sister. I just deeply worry about your lifelong happiness. If the Vance family cancels this engagement, not only do you lose face, but the entire Astor family will be utterly humiliated too. Kaelin issues a fake warning, looking strict but secretly agreeing. Nia playfully sticks out her tongue, pretending to admit her horrible mistake. Okay, I will stop. Kaelin shakes his head helplessly. Eldest sister, we totally spoiled Nia. She is becoming so unruly. Lyra smiles coldly. Indeed. Ever since my accident, Nia has become increasingly out of line. Speaking without thinking, she actually dares to comment on whether I can bear children or not. You seem to forget you are merely an adopted child of this family. You desperately need to relearn our rules. Nia is utterly stunned, never expecting Lyra to be so harsh today. Hearing she was just an adopted child needing rules, she feels highly uncomfortable. Eldest sister, I will personally discipline Nia later, Kaelin frantically insists. You and I know she will not wait. Lyra interrupts, her voice icy. No need. Right now, Bastion releases the wheelchair steps directly in front of Nia, and under her completely bewildered gaze, slaps her viciously across the face. Nia screams and hits the floor, holding her face in total disbelief. She stares while Lyra gently looks down. Nia, do not ever think that just because you have been called the third miss for so long, you are actually the real third miss. You are just a pathetic orphan Kaelin brought back. If I had not taken pity and let you both stay, you would still be desperately fighting for scraps at that miserable orphanage. Kaelin narrows his eyes, a cold glint flashing, then quickly fakes a bright smile. Eldest sister has always loved Nia. She was just joking, but you and I know better. Lyra just keeps her faint smile, her tone totally leisurely. Let's dive into some wild drama. It is only a joke if I actually find it funny. If I am upset, it is serious. My pets only speak when permitted. He was humiliated. Her eyes went wide with pure fury, but she kept quiet, too scared to argue back. Kaelin's voice suddenly turned freezing cold. Did you hear that, Nia? No more careless jokes around our eldest sister from now on. Nia just held her stinging cheek, completely silent, giving a small nod. Lyra smiled warmly. Glad you realize your mistake. Do not ever repeat it. She gave Bastion a quick signal to turn her wheelchair and head to the backyard. Bastion was absolutely furious. Nia was totally biting the hand that fed her. If the young miss had not pitied that orphan, there is no way she would ever be the third miss of the Astor family. Seeing the master delay the heir announcement over her condition, this girl actually dares to act incredibly arrogant now. As for the second young master, the boss exiled him because some fortune teller called him cursed. If the miss had not pleaded for him, he would still be banished. Yet he shows zero gratitude and actually blames the miss for acting ruthless while fighting for the heir position. Lyra instantly dropped her smile, slowly tapping the wheelchair armrest. I just do not get it. We are literal siblings. Why does Kaelin resent me this much? If this is about the Astor family heir position, I would have happily stepped aside if I knew he really wanted it. Here is where it gets crazy for us. He wants me gone, so I will show zero mercy. Meanwhile, in another corner, Nia was furious. Brother, how could she strike me? She even claimed I am not the third miss of the Astor family. I am obviously Dad's real daughter. Brother, when can I publicly reveal my identity? Kaylin patted her shoulder to comfort her. Nia, do not rush. Nia teared up instantly. How can I not? Lyra treated me like total garbage today. Kaylin quickly softened his voice. Nia, just endure this a bit longer. Wait until I secure the heir position and finally handle Lyra. You will rightfully be the true third miss of the Astor family. Nia gripped Kaylin's hand, tears rolling down. Brother, you have to ruin Lyra. Of course I will get justice for you. Kaylin sighed heavily. But we cannot make our move just yet. Lyra already suspects I am behind this. Making a move will not be easy. We need a long-term plan. Nia felt incredibly bitter. Lyra is lucky we failed to stop her last time. Kaylin stayed calm. It does not matter. Grandpa still has not officially announced the heir, proving he is seriously doubting Lyra's ability to lead. Our massive goal is already halfway done. Nia nodded, her eyes malicious. She is ruined anyway. Grandpa is not crazy enough to make her heir. Kaylin smirked confidently. Nia, hold on just a little longer. We are about to succeed. I know what you are thinking. Who is this guy back in my room? I hid the agreement and enjoyed a relaxing soak. After bathing Snow, my pet snake tightly wrapped its tail around a bright red phone. It smoothly slithered through the window, placing the phone right beside me. Sitting on the bed, drying my hair, I picked up the device, smiled happily, and praised, "Good job, Snow." Snow was so happy to be praised. She spun around my bed excitedly before slithering away to show off to Obsidian, Teohawk, and Jade. Honestly, my little pet snakes all had their own specialties. Obsidian was great at silent ambushes and lethal poisoning. Snow totally excelled at tracking and searching targets. After finishing my hair, I grabbed the phone again and immediately noticed a text from an unknown number. Sterling, if you dare block my number again, you will forever lose your only chance to be my boyfriend. This Saturday night, I am attending the huge welcome banquet for the Vance family's real young master. You have probably never witnessed such an epic banquet. Right, if you still want to be my boyfriend, show up at Kim City High-Speed Railway Station and play my personal assistant. I will take you inside. Remember, this is your final chance. I just sank into deep self-doubt. Why on earth did I ever save Priscilla back then? Honestly, leaving her on the street would have been 1,000,000 times better. The most humiliating part is I once thought she was decent, actually dating her for 2 whole months. This will forever remain the biggest stain on my life. But what an insane coincidence. My own welcome banquet actually invited Priscilla. I really want to see her expression when she finally realizes I am the true young master of the Vance family. I did not even bother calling her an idiot before blocking her today. I just replied, "Okay, noon tomorrow, high-speed rail station." I thought to myself, just wait. Wait until you completely rot and I still will not show up. Lying on my bed, I suddenly received a news notification. Rumor, the heir of a top wealthy family in Kim City cannot reproduce. I quickly forwarded the link to Lyra. Soon Lyra replied with a smiling face, then a confused face, and finally, "Do not believe it." Seeing Lyra in a hurry, I was about to text her, "Do not worry, I can cure you," but I just quickly deleted it. Honestly, I did not care if she could have kids. Trust me, you and I both know marriage does not strictly require children. There is plenty else to do. I sent an encouraging smile. "I believe you." Lyra quickly replied, "Our family matters are settled." I stood up, grabbed the family separation agreement from my drawer, snapped a quick photo, and hit send. Done. You and I are jumping into the best drama. Lyra laughed at my message. Just back in the Vance family, and I have already cut off my totally toxic biological parents. She texted right back. "Aren't you worried Reginald will boot you from the Vance family?" I replied. "Nope. I actually adopted my oldest uncle and aunt as my new parents. They treat me incredibly well. Honestly, they feel like my real parents now." Lyra just smiled warmly reading that message. "True, not all real parents love their kids," she replied, "like my situation. My dad barely likes me, especially after bringing Kaylin back to our house. He obviously favors him, but I really do not care. Kayon suffered so much out there, so it makes total sense our dad wants to compensate him. I just never expected him to ruin my entire life." Staring at the screen, I sent a big hug emoji and joked, "Once we are married, anyone who dares to bully my lovely wife will deeply regret it." Lyra chuckled softly. I kept teasing her. "Madam, rest assured I will protect you completely. I only hope Madam treats me wonderfully to repay that favor." Closing my chat with Lyra, I quickly called Wraith. "Dang. Boss, how is the Vance family reunion going?" "Pretty wild. Right now, watch this closely. I need you to secretly investigate all their businesses and current management setups. Wraith instantly agreed. Got it, I fell asleep and dreamt of holding Lyra close. My fingers gently traced along her soft skin, moving slowly downwards. Every single touch made her tremble just a little. Her bright eyes sparked with fiery light. Lyra looked up gently and whispered, "Sterling, if you like this, please continue." I gave a wicked smirk. "Of course I love it. I will hold you every day from now on." Her sweet voice was totally pampering. "My whole self, wherever you want it is yours." I winked playfully. Little Lyra is incredibly obedient. She leaned right into my ear and whispered, "I am being so obedient. Do I not deserve a tiny reward?" "All right then." I leaned down and gently kissed her neck. Lyra breathed faster, holding me tightly as if wanting to melt into me. But suddenly my face felt super itchy. I snapped my eyes open. It turned out to be obsidian snow and jade rubbing their little heads against my face. I sighed helplessly, let out a massive yawn, and gently nudged them away. Seeing me finally awake, the 3 snakes wiggled excitedly, very clearly demanding their breakfast. I stood up and checked the cabinet, only to realize my stash of freeze-dried spiders was almost completely empty. I dumped the rest onto the table and grabbed all 3 snakes. "Eat up, guys! Tonight I am taking you to a massive buffet." The 3 snakes happily devoured those freeze-dried spiders. I just sat there watching them, my mind totally drifting still, completely stuck on that beautiful unfinished dream. I actually tried closing my eyes desperately, hoping to continue the fantasy, but sleep just would not return. Opening my eyes helplessly, I just thought, whatever. Once I marry Lyra, we can be super affectionate anyway. Later, while I was eating breakfast with my new parents, the head butler suddenly arrived. "Sir, Madame the Master expects the young master in the main hall shortly." Alaric looked up and wondered aloud, what could be the matter now? The head butler replied formally, "It regards the arranged marriage agreement between the Vance family and Astor family." I raised an eyebrow. We both knew this was coming. Finally, after the butler left, Ara looked at me seriously. "Sterling, your second uncle and second aunt will definitely use your official status as the Vance family young master. They will tell Grandpa to make you replace Asher in marrying Lyra. Mom is asking you one more time. Are you absolutely positive that you want to marry Lyra?" I nodded with zero hesitation. Remembering my sweet dream, I whispered an extra thought. "I actually hope to marry her ASAP so we can legally be a real couple." Ara missed that last part completely. I quickly shook my head. "Oh, nothing. I am just confirming 100% that I want to marry Lyra." Seeing my unwavering gaze, she knew my determination and said nothing else. "Mom and Dad promised to support absolutely any decision you make." When I finally reached the main hall, Beatrix, Asher, and Serafina were already waiting. Seeing me, Asher looked super smug. Beatrix smirked. "Sterling, you arrived. You returned to the Vance family at a truly perfect time. You just came back and already get to use your shiny Vance family young master title to marry the eldest lady of the Astor family." Ara instantly mocked them. "You are incredibly good at lying through your teeth. If the Astor family eldest lady had not gotten into that accident and broken her legs last month, would you ever consider letting Sterling marry her? When we brought Sterling home, you were never this proactive. Now that you want Sterling replacing your adopted son to marry Lyra, you are suddenly acting so enthusiastic." Beatrix heard the sarcasm, but since that separation agreement was fully signed, she did not even bother pretending anymore. She replied bluntly, "Speaking of which, sister-in-law, you should really thank me. I let you pick up Sterling, so consider your desperate wish for a child completely fulfilled, and that is where we leave it." Surprisingly, Ara was not even mad. Instead, she smiled so genuinely. "Yes, thank you both for letting me be Sterling's mother." Beatrix watched her, totally convinced she was just faking being tough. Serafina sneered coldly, saying what she threw away like trash was somehow treated like a precious blessing. "Stick with me here," I sneered back. "Why does everyone just assume I am completely inferior to Asher?" Serafina shot back. "Isn't it obvious? What do you even know? Asher is literally a famous prodigy right here in Kim City. You think you can compete? I bet whatever he has mastered, I know too. It is just music, chess, art, and some foreign languages. You spent so much insane money and effort raising the enemy's switched kid. Is that really something to brag about?" Bringing up the swap made Serafina look furious. "No matter how mad you are, Asher is way more outstanding than you. That is a fact. You only insult him using his awful mother. Actually, I do not think his mother is terrible at all. His mother actually treated her son incredibly well, risking a crime just for his future. Compare that to second aunt, who just completely despises her own biological kid and refuses to even claim him. She is way better." I faked pure admiration. Serafina and Beatrix completely choked on my words, speechless. Asher spoke up. Brother Sterling, if you want to learn, I am totally willing to teach you. I shot him a look. Then perform for me right now. Prove you are qualified to teach me anything. Challenged like that, Asher just froze. Watch closely now. Is he joking about performing right now? This basically just turns him into a total performing clown. He hid his anger, keeping a polite smile. Saturday night is the big welcome banquet. If Brother Sterling wants a performance, I will consider it a special gift to you. I just laughed lightly. A gift for me. Or do you just want an excuse in front of everyone to prove you are way better than me? Asher smiled, showing a really sly glint in his eyes. If Brother Sterling thinks that way, there is nothing I can do. Serafina mocked. He is just terrified you will steal his spotlight at the welcome banquet. I shrugged it off. You think too much. At my own welcome banquet, nobody steals my spotlight. Serafina laughed so coldly, her eyes full of pure disgust. I just hope you do not embarrass the Vance family while trying to shine. I smirked, my eyes flashing with pure confidence. Just wait and see. I will absolutely blind you all. Grandpa Vance slowly walked in, leaning on the head butler. His steps were a bit shaky, but that gaze remained razor-sharp. Entering the massive living room, he swept his sharp eyes around. What are you children discussing? Seeing him, Serafina instantly snitched. Grandpa, just look at him. Asher wants to perform at the welcome banquet as a gift for Sterling, but he totally rejected it. I shrugged innocently. Do not falsely accuse me right in front of Grandpa. I was just wondering if he wanted to use this chance to show off. I never once said I would not accept it. Serafina frowned. So what do you mean? I smirked slightly. My meaning is very simple. If Asher really wants to perform at the welcome banquet, just let him perform all he wants. After all, it welcomes me. Serafina looked completely shocked. You saw that coming, right? She never expected me to agree so easily. She immediately started calculating, wondering what scheme I was plotting. But staring at my face, she could not find any clue. Then Grandpa Vance spoke up. All right, I called you all here today about the arranged marriage with the Astor family. He stared right at me. You know the Astor family is a top-tier wealthy household in Kim City. Marrying them holds massive significance for the entire Vance family. Even though the eldest Astor lady broke her legs, it completely does not affect their high status. Plus, countless rich families are super jealous that we get to ally with the Astor family. I just nodded slightly. Grandpa Vance continued. So are you willing to marry the eldest lady of the Astor family? He paused for a moment and added, actually, if the eldest lady of the Astor family does not mind that Asher is just an adopted son and agrees to continue the marriage with him, there is no need to replace him with you. Asher looked visibly super tense, but I smiled. It is fine, Grandpa. I am willing. Grandpa Vance frowned, confirming, Are you sure? I nodded. Yes, absolutely sure. Beatrix was absolutely thrilled. She originally thought it would take lots of convincing, never expecting me to agree so easily. Seeing my super straightforward answer, Grandpa Vance could not figure out what I was thinking, but he said, all right, the matter is settled. I will find a proper time to inform the Astor family. Yes, before the engagement banquet, you can try to get to know the eldest lady of the Astor family much better. I calmly replied, yes, Grandpa. The second Grandpa Vance left, Serafina mocked him. Sterling, with your terrible conditions, marrying the eldest lady of the Astor family is absolutely climbing the social ladder. If she were healthy, this chance would not even fall to you. So what do you and I make of this? The fake Master Asher marrying Lyra is the real social climb. Come along with me, Lyra and I are an absolute match made in heaven. It is seriously such a shame Asher cannot recognize a truly good thing. Because her legs are injured, that guy thinks she cannot be the heir and wants their engagement canceled. I even warned Serafina to keep her distance from me from now on so her toxic words wouldn't completely pollute my hearing. Then I happily grabbed Era and Alaric's hands. Mom, Dad, let's go prepare for my welcome banquet. They both beamed with so much doting affection. They promised their son would be the most radiant prince that night. Nobody could possibly steal my spotlight. Serafina glared right at our backs as we walked away, muttering coldly that she wanted to see me make a total fool of myself at the banquet. She then turned straight to Asher. He had to perform exceptionally well that night, completely crush his aura to show he is useless. Despite her words, Asher secretly knew he was no longer the real young master anymore. He really worried this would disappoint his adoptive Vance family parents and anger Grandpa. But honestly, Beatrix did not care at all. It is completely fine, just do it. If it makes them mad, it works. By Saturday evening, every invitation to the welcome banquet had finally been sent. Alaric decorated the banquet hall using the finest premium materials. He prepared everything perfectly, wanting to show the entire world just how much they valued their son. Despite the flawless setup, he still worried he missed something, asking about the layout and my outfit. Hearing my happy approval, he felt extremely proud. He chose only the absolute most expensive things, guaranteeing everyone would be totally shocked when I appeared. Later, I went to meet Lyra. Now pay attention here, because today officially started her leg treatment. Orion leaned against the pavilion pillar looking super annoyed, but I just ignored him. Sitting right next to Lyra, I gently announced we were starting the treatment. I warned her it would be painful, but enduring it meant results in 3 months. Lyra just nodded eagerly, bravely telling me to go ahead. Knowing her own biological brother harmed her, she felt absolutely no physical pain could ever be considered unbearable anymore. I looked straight at her, my eyes flashing with deep admiration. She was truly worthy of being the woman I chose to cure. This healing required not just my superb medical skills, but also the patient's absolute cooperation and perseverance. Her fierce attitude made me extremely satisfied. Hearing the phrase, "the woman I chose," made Lyra incredibly happy, her eyes twinkling with mild joy, completely unconcerned about how painful the treatment process would be. I carefully placed my acupuncture needles and several medicinal powder bottles onto the stone table before very gently rolling up Lyra's pant leg. Today, she purposely wore a loose outfit for this treatment. Glancing down, I accidentally blurted out that her legs were really sexy. Lyra completely froze. Bastion, standing nearby, almost choked. Lyra coughed, smiling awkwardly, just hoping I actually liked them. I just raised an eyebrow, my hands still working smoothly. Of course I liked them. If I did not, why would I have ever agreed to get engaged to you? Lyra looked super surprised, mentioning the Vance family had already clarified our marriage arrangement. You saw this coming, right? I inserted the needles, replying, Grandpa mentioned it this morning. Grandpa said since I am the true young master of the Vance family, I should be the one marrying her. I totally agreed. He even told me to visit her whenever I am free so we can finally get close. Lyra agreed. The master was right. We should definitely meet more often to understand each other. I nodded smoothly. Aren't we getting closer right now? Until your legs completely heal, we must meet every single day. Lyra playfully joked back. So after my legs heal, we won't meet every day anymore. She smiled softly, watching me intently as I applied the needles. I burst out laughing. You just love overanalyzing my words, huh? Once your legs heal, if that is still not enough, we can just bump up the wedding date. Wouldn't we be seeing each other every single day then? Lyra smiled happily. I think so too. But during the treatment, she gradually felt intense pain shooting through her legs, like her bones were being crushed piece by piece. Despite this terrifying pain, she gritted her teeth and hid it perfectly. She just did not have the energy to converse anymore. Noticing her silent suffering, I looked up. If the pain gets unbearable, do not force it. I have painkillers. Her face totally pale, Lyra shook her head. No need, I want to remember this pain. I just shrugged. Suit yourself. Orion secretly observed us, genuinely curious. Lyra has not known him long. Why is she so good to him? From her gentle voice to her eyes, she was full of doting affection, completely different from the cold, polite distance she always kept with Asher. Could it be Lyra actually likes Sterling and has zero feelings for Asher? 3 grueling hours later, I pulled out all the dense silver needles, wrapped her knees in medicinal powder-soaked bandages, and stretched. Done for today, honestly. I secretly admired her incredible endurance. That was pure agony, so what do you and I expect from my future bride? Wiping heavy sweat from her forehead, Lyra rubbed her legs happily, feeling the joints were much less stiff. If they fully heal in 3 months, should we plan our actual wedding for 3 months from now? What do you think? I sat on the stone bench, quietly sterilizing my needles. Let's dive right into this wild drama. I told her she might regret healing, though I never worried. Because honestly, I always kept the upper hand. Lyra just scoffed and declared that in this entire lifetime, I was the only one for her. I burst out laughing, packing away my treatment needles while flashing a super bright, cheerful smile. I suggested setting the wedding date once she fully recovered. Seeing my instant agreement, Lyra just gazed at me, her eyes sparkling with absolute joy. Until now, arranged marriages were strictly business tools. You simply marry whoever brings the family maximum benefits. She honestly never imagined actually looking forward to real married life. So how did we even meet Lyra in the first place? Orion aggressively asked from the back seat heading home. Driving smoothly, I casually checked the rearview mirror, observing him. I calmly explained that Lyra chased me. She actually likes me wanting marriage. Orion just laughed coldly. He mocked that she only chose me as a desperate backup to avoid ruining Asher's perfect future. I quickly fired right back at his arrogant face. A backup plan. Weren't you guys the ones dragging me back just to eagerly replace Asher and take over this exact arranged marriage? Now that I want to marry her, why are you suddenly so upset? Orion didn't even deny using me as a replacement. He just completely refused to let his precious Asher marry a girl with ruined legs. To him, throwing the discarded biological brother a marriage was some massive, generous favor. I just smirked, seeing right through his ridiculous family bias. Now pay close attention here. I teased that I could easily tell Grandpa to make Asher marry her instead, despite her badly injured legs. But obviously she genuinely likes me and couldn't care less about Asher. Orion angrily snorted at that fact. He questioned my extreme confidence, claiming I was total trash compared to Asher. His disgusted face looked absolutely exactly like Seraphina's. I just smirked. My supreme confidence definitely has solid proof. Like knowing he'd never admit I completely ruined his right leg's tendon. Hearing that harsh truth, Orion's pale face twisted as his fists clenched tightly. Pulling up to the Grand Vance estate, I stopped the car, glaring backward. Time to get out. Don't tell me walking is too hard now. Watching Orion humiliatingly struggle in pure pain, I flashed a very dark, deeply resentful half-smile. Who asked you to start trouble yesterday? If you had just stayed far away, you wouldn't be hurting like this. Honestly, I clearly remember Seraphina totally manipulated you into doing it. So if you're angry, go blame her for running her big mouth. She was too scared to confront me directly, so she easily used you as bait. Right then, Seraphina and Asher's flashy Porsche rolled into the lot. Asher excitedly yelled for his big brother, hopping out of the car fast. Seeing me standing near Orion, Seraphina froze. She asked why he was with me. I immediately chimed in, purely mocking her. I joked that my loving biological brother just adores, spending his free time checking up on me since I finally returned home. Seraphina panicked suddenly, realizing she had complained about Asher being bullied earlier, sending Orion straight to me for a serious revenge beatdown. But she totally expected me broken. She coldly declared we already cut ties. She fiercely denied being my sister. I smoothly replied that I dumped them first. I absolutely do not need any of you. I gently patted Orion's face, whispering a harsh warning to obey me. Leaving them far behind, Seraphina stood there completely confused. Okay, pause for a second. She furiously demanded why he hadn't destroyed me. How was I totally fine, yet also daring to speak so incredibly disrespectfully to him? Orion's expression looked absolutely horrible. The intense, blinding pain in his ruined right leg almost completely prevented him from standing properly. Asher finally noticed the glaring problem, loudly asking in pure shock about what happened to his big brother's leg. Seraphina stared at the right leg in complete horror. Orion furiously roared for silence, painfully dragging his heavily ruined leg away from them with extreme difficulty. Asher's eyes went completely red with deep worry. Did Sterling actually do this? Seraphina raged, blaming me entirely. She knew he had originally gone out to get revenge on me, only to end up brutally injured like this instead. Asher nervously choked back tears, wondering what to do next, and deeply fearing his brother's leg was permanently ruined. Seraphina quickly comforted him firmly, insisting I wasn't bold enough to actually destroy his leg completely. She seriously promised to investigate everything. If I really hurt him, the powerful family would completely destroy me. Inside the living room, Beatrix saw Orion severely struggling and immediately frowned. She nervously asked if his leg was completely broken. Orion's sweaty face remained sickeningly pale. She anxiously tried checking the severe injury, but he angrily waved her away. Panicking at his fierce attitude, Beatrix could only step back, feeling silently wronged. Realizing his intensely angry tone was way too harsh, Orion took a very heavy breath, trying to calm down. He aggressively ordered her to call the family doctor immediately. Trembling with deep maternal worry, Beatrix frantically made the urgent medical call. Judging by Orion's extreme reaction, this definitely wasn't a basic injury. Was he severely beaten up by someone? And that's where we leave it. Who dared ruin his leg? Seeing the siblings return, she frantically demanded answers about the horrific injury. Let's dive in. Asher looked stressed. Seraphina snapped angrily, blaming everything on farm boy Sterling. She complained about visiting Starlight Media over Asher getting bullied, claiming she just saw me totally disrespecting Orion out in the parking lot. Beatrix was fuming. If it's really him, I won't let him off easily. Meanwhile, Orion dragged his injured leg inside, slumping on his bed. Staring at his completely severed tendon, he felt absolutely powerless. His patience was entirely running out. A sharp knock echoed. "Orion, the doctor is finally here!" Beatrix yelled from outside. "Yes." Orion felt massive relief, struggling up to unlock the door. "Mom, please just wait outside first." Beatrix gave him an anxious look but stepped away. The door shut. The doctor examined Orion's leg with deep concern. "Young master, let me examine your leg." Orion shook his head, dead serious. "It is not just the leg. You have to figure out what kind of strange toxin I am infected with." Startled, the doctor dropped his bag and investigated thoroughly. The longer he searched, the darker his expression became. Finally, he sighed. "I am truly sorry, young master. I have zero clue what toxin you took." Orion went completely pale. He desperately asked if any medicine could just suppress the flare-ups. The doctor helplessly shook his head. "I do not even recognize the toxin, so how could I possibly know the right antidote?" After he left, Orion felt absolutely desperate but refused to quit. "Now watch closely," he called Mr. Lin, owner of Kim City's biggest auction house. "Do you know any incredibly connected experts capable of curing insane, mysterious toxins?" Mr. Lin replied, "The absolute best toxin expert nationwide is ironically a master of using them, but actually meeting him is insanely difficult. He only visits the auction house to sell rare mystical herbs. Every single time the price is astronomical, Orion practically begged urgently. As long as this toxin gets cured, money is definitely not an issue." Mr. Lin just sighed. "Meeting him is extremely tough. I can only promise to notify you the very next time he shows his face at the auction." Orion hung up the phone, squeezing it until his knuckles turned white, his heart consumed by pure rage. He swore that once completely cured, he would absolutely destroy me. At that exact moment, I was casually packing dried herbs at the villa when my phone rang. It was Wraith giving me the rundown on the Vance family empire. Their main cash cow, Vance Pharmaceuticals, is actually crashing hard under Reginald's terrible management. Orion's Starlight Media has mild success but desperately needs a blockbuster hit. Wraith chuckled. "I heard Orion wants to snag the rights to Lily Evergreen's final masterpiece, totally clueless that you, boss, are actually the real Lily Evergreen." I burst out laughing, asking, "Is he doing anything else?" Wraith said they are backing Green Sprout Tech. I know what you're thinking that caught my full attention. Funny enough, alongside my mystical herbs, I had actually registered several major tech patents. I was planning to hand those patents over to Green Sprout Tech soon to skyrocket their growth. Just picturing his face made my mouth curl into a massive smirk. Reginald's side controlled the Vance family assets, but I was definitely holding the winning hand now. I just told Wraith, "All right, fantastic work today." I hung up, eyes sparkling with amusement. What an absolutely wild coincidence. Orion is dreaming of buying my last novel to launch a massive blockbuster and save Starlight Media. Too bad the guy is never getting that chance. I whistled while boxing up the herbs. Obsidian Snow and Jade actually wagged their tails, happily helping me out. Used to the routine, I finished packing incredibly fast. A gentle knock hit the door and a voice called out, "Sterling, are you inside your room?" "Yeah, I am." I pushed the crates aside, ordered my 3 trusty snakes to hide well, and swung the door wide open. Lara's eyes literally sparked as she dragged my hand inside. "Sterling, that high-end suit Mom ordered for you just got delivered. Try it on and let us see the fit." 2 staff members carefully carried the fancy suit inside, laid it perfectly on the bed, and left. With Aurara's enthusiastic help, I threw on the suit. It fit flawlessly and looked incredibly sharp. All adjusted the little details, stepping back to admire me like an absolute masterpiece. "Sterling, tomorrow night, you are going to be the most stunning prince there. Everyone will finally know you are the real young master of the Vance family," she asked gently. "Are you nervous?" Staring at my reflection in the mirror, I just smiled. "Nah, this is nothing." All had no idea I had traveled everywhere, dominating countless massive high society banquets. I had conquered events far grander than this simple welcome banquet. She admired me, but worried. "Asher completely set this entire banquet up. Mom is seriously terrified that he, alongside your second uncle and aunt, will scheme to humiliate you, totally destroying your flawless reputation in front of everyone." I just smiled. "Mom, relax. Whatever they plot, I am fully prepared. Trust me, We are about to watch them suffer the brutal consequences of their own actions. Seeing my confidence, Ara finally relaxed but gave one reminder. All right, Mom totally believes in you. Just remember, if things get crazy, Mom and Dad are here. We are your absolute backup. My chest felt warm as I smiled and nodded. Yeah, I know. Staring at myself in the mirror, my eyes sparked with intense curiosity. I really wonder what Reginald's family Tatri and Asher will pull at tonight's banquet. Let's dive right in. This is going to be insanely fun. That night, Gideon summoned Lyra to the main hall immediately upon entering the Astor estate. Stepping inside the hall, Lyra spotted Nia clinging to Gideon, acting totally spoiled. Dad, you promised you would fiercely stand up for me today, right? Gideon gazed at Nia with pure warmth. Do not worry, Dad will never let anyone mistreat you. Kaylin smiled playfully too. Being his actual biological daughter, Lyra's expression instantly darkened. She never felt loved, yet an adopted girl got totally spoiled. Noticing Lyra, Nia smirked. Dad, our eldest sister is finally back. Gideon's warm smile completely vanished upon seeing Lyra. I summoned you because I got invited to the Vance family's official welcome banquet happening tomorrow night. Turns out Asher isn't their real heir. Do you still want to marry the true young master of the Vance family, or just cancel this engagement entirely? Before Lyra could answer, Nia loudly interrupted. What a coincidence. Last month, eldest sister got injured. Now this month, the Vance family brings back their real heir, claiming Asher is just a fake. Could it be they want to dodge marrying you, so they deliberately grabbed a substitute? This shady tactic is honestly outrageous. Watch closely now. Nia gloated openly, but our girl Lyra stayed totally calm. Dad, there is zero need to cancel this engagement. I am absolutely willing to marry the Vance family's true young master. Gideon looked completely shocked. Are you entirely sure? Nia totally faked a shocked gasp. Eldest sister, the Vance family's real heir is just a rural medicine peddler. He is not even close to matching Asher's level. Even with your injury, you do not have to marry him, right? Lyra flashed Nia a chilling smile. Nia, you just openly mocked the Vance family's true young master while completely degrading me at the exact same time. Nia quickly played the poor victim. Eldest sister, I meant nothing bad. Ever since your injury, you have just become way too sensitive. Gideon faked a strict tone. Nia, your eldest sister and I are speaking. Why are you interrupting? Do not be disrespectful. Nia playfully stuck out her tongue, saying yes. She looked scolded, but Gideon was so obviously protecting his precious favorite. Have you genuinely thought this decision through? Do you actually want to marry the Vance family's true young master? Gideon questioned her again. Lyra slowly withdrew her cold, calm gaze. I am completely certain. Originally, I was meant to marry the Vance family's heir. If Asher is a fake, of course I will not marry him. Gideon secretly glanced at Kaylin, a tiny hidden smirk flashing across his eyes as he nodded. Fine, if you agree, we will hit the true young master's banquet tomorrow and boldly show our full support. Kaylin smirked quietly. Her marrying some so-called true young master? Lyra is totally finished. Gideon suddenly remembered something. Oh, yesterday. Nia slipped up slightly and you made Assistant Bastion strike her. Is that actually true? Lyra froze, completely shocked. Her father brought this up today. Yes. Then do you not think you should just teach Nia rules? Gideon sounded visibly dissatisfied. Nia is a precious miss of the Astor family. Just because she mumbled a few wrong words, did you really have to blow things up and let Assistant Bastion brutally teach her a physical lesson? Lyra laughed so coldly. Dad, Nia is simply an adopted daughter you grabbed because Kaylin is not biologically yours. Nia's face instantly darkened, and Gideon looked absolutely furious too. Even if she lacks my blood, Nia grew up alongside Kaylin and called me Dad for years. I already treat her exactly like my own real daughter. You letting Assistant Bastion strike her was completely wrong. She's been hurting all day. Apologize to her immediately. And with Assistant Bastion boldly daring to strike an Astor family miss, I am furious. Do not let that guy follow you around anymore. Nia looked incredibly smug. Eldest sister, just apologize sincerely and I will forgive you. Bastion stayed silent. I know what you're thinking. Lyra stared at Dad forever, then softly commanded Nia closer. Nia happily skipped forward. Eldest sister, better be sincere or I am rejecting it. Suddenly, Bastion snatched Nia's wrist without warning and slapped her incredibly hard. Nia was completely stunned, crashing onto the floor. Gideon's face instantly turned as black as dark pitch. Lyra, what on earth are you doing? Lyra spoke flatly. I hit her because this mere adopted daughter dares to shamelessly tattle right in front of you. She coldly kept giving orders. Bastion, continue. Smack, another slap. Nia rolled right by Gideon's feet. I struck her because she dared to mock my injured legs right before you. Nia sobbed uncontrollably. Gideon was completely furious. Lyra, enough. Your legs are ruined and your terrible temper is just getting worse. You never even listen anymore. What do we make of this? Nia glared pure daggers, but Lyra simply let out a cold laugh. Dad, do not forget your current family. Power exists purely because I fought Grandpa for it. Before me, you were literally an absolute nobody inside the Astor family. Gideon's expression grew vastly uglier. Lyra kept going. Dad thinks because my legs are ruined, I am useless. You grabbed power here, and even without me around, you expect Kaylin to proudly steal the epic miracles I built. Let's dive in. Kaylin panicked. Sister, you misunderstand. Why would Dad think that Lyra spoke slowly? Whatever you think while I am here, I can wreck everything you own in a second. Dad, if we are done, I am heading out for the night. I have a chess match with Grandpa right now. She shot Kaylin a glance. Come to think of it, Kaylin has been back 3 years and never played chess with him, right? Bastion then wheeled Lyra right out of the main hall. Staring at the night sky, Lyra coldly ordered Bastion go find someone to investigate my father and confirm his biological tie to Nia. Bastion looked totally shocked. Investigate your father and Nia actually share a biological tie? Lyra nodded. She quietly thought to herself, Grandpa supposedly sent my brother far away back then just because of some random fortune teller. I bet things are way more complicated. Meanwhile, Nia angrily grabbed her bright red cheeks on the sofa. Kaylin grabbed an ice pack and gently applied it for his sister. Dad, did you see her? Lyra has absolutely zero respect for you now. She is incredibly arrogant just because Grandpa still values her. Gideon let out a cold laugh. Like she pointed out, Kaylin has been back 3 years, and Grandpa still has not played chess with him. The entire Astor family knows Grandpa loves chess more than anything. Inviting someone to play is his ultimate sign of absolute value and respect. Kaylin looked completely bitter. Dad, do not worry. Grandpa will recognize me eventually. He values Lyra now, but hasn't officially named an heir, which proves he is hesitating. Maybe he still hopes Lyra will somehow heal her legs completely. Watch closely here. Nia looked worried. What if her legs heal? Gideon glared fiercely. Even if they can, I will never let her recover. I personally invited all her doctors. If she can actually recover, I have my own special methods to make sure her legs stay broken forever. Nia, your dad is totally useless. I failed to get justice for you today, and I even let you suffer such terrible unfairness. Gideon stared at his daughter with deep heartache. Nia spoke softer. Dad, I can handle a little pain, but she completely disrespects you now. She even claimed your power is entirely thanks to her. Hearing this, Gideon clenched his fists tightly. She is absolutely her mother's daughter. Her personality is exactly the same. Just another person who completely despises me as a husband. A person who rejects me as a father. Well, she cannot blame me for playing ruthlessly. I managed to eliminate that woman back then, and I can easily remove her daughter now. He seriously asked Kaylin, did you investigate the Vance family's true young master? Kaylin quickly replied, yes. The true young master is Sterling Vance from a remote village selling medicine. I heard Reginald's family completely despised him upon returning and refused to acknowledge him. Now he is just registered under Eric and Ara's names. Gideon breathed a massive sigh of relief. Perfect, as long as we confirm this true young master is useless. If Lyra marries him, her status within our family will definitely be affected. This is our perfect chance to secure power. They clearly stopped Asher from marrying her, so they just found some country bumpkin to hold her back. I know what you are thinking. Why is she still acting arrogant? Nia snorted. Meanwhile, Lyra calmly placed a black chess piece. Grandpa looked up. Did your father tell you everything about the Vance family's situation? Yes, entirely. Lyra kept her focus strictly on the chessboard. What is your plan? Still continuing the marriage? Yes, I want to marry the true Vance young master. Grandpa stopped playing his pieces and asked very seriously, do you realize what dangerous situation you face? Your legs are crippled. So many people want the heir position, and they are constantly pressuring to replace you. Yet you still dare to marry a Vance family young master who literally owns nothing. Lyra remained calm. Grandpa, tell me, besides myself, who else in the Astor family can make us strong and truly dominate Kim? City? Grandpa just snorted coldly at her confidence. You are quite confident, aren't you? Lyra placed another piece down, smiling leisurely. Exactly so, I am highly confident in choosing my own husband. I only met the true young master of the Vance family once, but really how much time does it take? Once is totally enough. Grandpa deeply pondered this. Back when we arranged your marriage to the famous Asher, you never voiced a single opinion about it. Now, with this true young master, you are incredibly proactive, having nearly lost your life once you have rethought everything right. Lyra smiled faintly. Life is too short. I should follow my heart and choose the person I actually like. I will also attend tomorrow's big welcome banquet. I need to see what makes this true young master of the Vance family so special that you chose him immediately. Thinking of his arrogant attitude, Lyra just smiled happily. Grandpa will definitely be super satisfied with your future grandson-in-law. Grandpa Astor watched his granddaughter's bright expression and thought she is usually polite, but rarely does anyone actually enter her heart like this. Before, with that arranged marriage to Asher, she just treated it like some regular, boring mission, and that is where we leave it. Now her eyes hold real hope. Whoever made her fall in love like this is absolutely not ordinary. Stick with me here. We watch Lyra struggling out of the bathroom, pushing her wheelchair toward the bed with absolute determination. She planned to message me, but I had already beaten her to the punch. Smirking, she instantly typed back, "If you remind me daily, I will definitely remember my meds." Meanwhile, I was just chilling at my computer, having just sent that exact message over to Lyra. I logged into my secret author account, Lily Evergreen, ready to manage the copyright for my final novel. The second I went online, my inbox exploded. Countless fans and massive entertainment companies were desperately trying to reach me. Spotting a collab request from Starlight Media, I just smirked and instantly hit reject. Opening my editor's message, I fired back, set up a small meetup later this month. Make sure to invite every single company dying to buy my final novel's copyright. I firmly added, make sure their company directors show up in person. I am picking my partner myself. A sly grin formed on my face. Orion was clearly plotting something huge over at Starlight Media. Now pay attention. He absolutely will not skip this chance. But when he discovers I own that copyright, his face is going to be completely priceless. Editor Lon quickly replied, literally, only you get this kind of crazy privilege. Your last 3 stories became massive hits on screen. This final masterpiece is worth a fortune. Hey, are you working on a new book? Nope, zero plans to write right now. She agreed, totally fine. True masterpieces prioritize amazing quality over quantity. These 4 books alone will keep you wealthy forever. I will set up the meetup right away, just wait for my signal. Done chatting, I shut down the computer, grabbed my phone, and flopped onto the bed. I opened the message Lyra had sent 10 minutes earlier. Do I need to remind you daily? She wasn't worried about meds. She just wanted an excuse to chat with me every day. Lyra instantly replied, you nailed it again. I playfully teased her, saying, before this, you seriously never flirted with anyone. With my old status, why would I ever need to flirt? She fired back. Anyway, since we are officially engaged, there is no need anymore. With you, I could seriously talk until the end of the world, I jokingly replied. I bet you are just sweet-talking me so I heal your legs. Just like Orion boldly claimed. Why not drag him over tomorrow so he can say that exact garbage straight to my face? Reading her comeback, I burst out laughing. We kept texting until I finally drifted off to sleep. Waking up the next morning, my phone was right beside my head. Last night, my pet Jade had smoothly slid onto the bedside table. Spotting me awake, Jade instantly slithered over, grabbed the device, and handed it to me. Such a good boy. I sat up, rubbed its head, and checked my phone. Lyra texted about the banquet. You and I know what that means. Time to start treatment early. Glancing at the clock, it was just past 8 a.m. I quickly replied 10 a.m., the usual spot. I fed my 3 snakes freeze-dried spiders, washed my face, and headed downstairs for a quick breakfast, calling out to Martha. Turns out my new parents left early to check the banquet hall, absolutely terrified of tonight going wrong. The maid asked, is the young master going out today? Martha explained, the madam insisted you take 2 bodyguards along just to be completely safe. Got it. I casually nodded, continuing to enjoy my breakfast. Suddenly remembering my plan, I dialed Orion. Over there, the guy had stayed wide awake all night long. The endless, agonizing pain in his right leg was a brutal reminder of his injury. He had zero clue how to survive his family's harsh future. A sudden knock. Asher called out through the door, Big brother, are you awake? Orion stayed totally silent, dreading the moment he'd have to explain his ruined leg. Big brother, Dad wanted me to check if you are skipping the company today. Orion stared blankly at a dozen missed calls from his assistant, his heart sinking further. The hallway went dead silent. He just curled up in pure agony. Suddenly, his phone buzzed again. Furious, he reached to reject it but froze, seeing my name flashing on the screen. He absolutely did not dare hang up on me. After a tense pause, he answered. I said, come meet me later for a trip. Lyra wants to confront you. My voice sounded completely calm. Confront me about what? Didn't you claim she was only treating you nicely because she desperately needed your help? I figured I could cure her legs. Orion gritted his teeth, staying silent for a moment, just to keep his crumbling composure intact. Why did you even tell her? Is there an issue? I am just a pawn in her grand scheme anyway. He wondered, how can this guy's words be so incredibly infuriating? Orion took a heavy breath. I understand. 10 minutes later, Asher spotted Orion limping downstairs and quickly voiced his concern. Big brother, is your leg feeling better? Beatrix looked extremely worried too. Orion, tell Mom what happened to your leg. Did that absolute brat Sterling do this? Mom, just stop asking. Orion coldly cut her off. I will explain when it is time. Do not bother me now. Okay. Beatrix quickly nodded in fear. Okay. Mom won't ask. Asher knew Orion's bad temper and didn't dare provoke him, seeing him storm off hungry. Beatrix quickly yelled, Orion, are you seriously heading to the company without eating breakfast? No need. Orion did not even look back, just limping away. Beatrix tells Asher to find his brother and ask about that leg. Trust me, you'll want to see what's next. Let's dive into this crazy drama. Asher nodded at his mom, agreeing he was the favorite, but secretly knew asking now would just trigger absolute fury. Meanwhile, Orion dragged himself outside the East Villa, calling me up to announce he was waiting. My response: keep waiting. Do you seriously need an exact schedule? Orion practically ground his teeth. He stood fuming under a tree for 30 long minutes before I finally decided to casually stroll out to meet him. Sterling, are you mocking me on purpose? Orion squeezed his fists, hiding his rage. I just sneered at his embarrassed face. Seriously, you cannot even handle a tiny bit of inconvenience, dear old Orion. You guys used to lecture me about being forgiving, telling me to just let go of the whole switched identity thing. But taking his place meant I lived a miserable life. This actually cooled Orion down, realizing just how much I struggled alone. If I stayed in the Vance family, I never would have faced that awful nightmare. Sure, his mother swapped you two, but Asher was just a baby. He is completely innocent, Orion muttered. Man, how incredibly boring. I casually cleaned my ear. You guys always repeat that nonsense. If his mom had not swapped us, sure, he is innocent. Now watch closely here. His mother literally stole my life for him, and you still call him innocent. By that twisted logic, there are too many innocent people in this world. Criminals' kids are innocent too, since their parents do bad things just to give their own children a perfectly comfortable, happy lifestyle. Plus, right before I returned home, your precious little brother paid off goons to permanently take me out. That is simply impossible. Go investigate it yourself. Orion completely froze, his tight fists slowly opening up. You just want to humiliate me so I feel your pain. Spot on. True empathy literally does not exist in this reality. If you want comfortable people to understand your struggle, they absolutely must go through the exact same nightmare themselves. I laughed out loud, flashing a bright smile that gave Orion serious chills. Stay calm, buddy. This game is only getting started. You and I know the real fun begins when his whole family loses everything and totally shatters. I confidently strutted toward the garage. Orion stared at my back, his eyes swapping that usual hatred for something way more complicated. But he still refused to believe Asher would actually pay thugs to finish me. Back in his room, Asher was getting ready for Starlight Media when he spotted Orion following me right outside his window. He panicked, rushing over and gripping the windowsill. Was Orion not supposed to be at the company? Why approach Sterling right now? Did Sterling somehow convince Orion to switch sides? The thought sent a massive wave of panic through Asher. His survival in the Vance family completely relied on impressing his adoptive dad, boosting Beatrix's ego, and milking Orion and Serafina for pity. If he lost Orion's constant protection, surviving in this ruthless household would become a completely impossible challenge. Trust me, you will want to see his next move.